Hey, you guys.
See, she thought she pressed the wrong button.
I did press the wrong button. That was actually the outro.
She put fucking sexy fucking hats on the damn title. So people in there go, oh, well, this shit can wait here. We gotta see the sexy hat. You guys know what this is, this hat.
Well,
you
see,
this one.
I always try to like think of a name for it. It's like I can change it later, but I just need something to come up with. And it's like you brought those in, and I said, well, I can't call it cocksucker hat edition. That was the first thing that I thought of. And I'm like, no, because then it'll get demonetized. So
well, I got demonetized just for you saying that.
No, because we've said that lots of times, and they don't get demonetized. But
yeah, I pull up on my fucking this is my sexual policeman hat.
Yeah,
I fucking pull up on my bike with this hat on, sirens flashing, start handing out citations to anybody who's not having sex. You're not having sex, fucking that's it. And then if anybody looks anti-sexual, you gotta lock them up. Lock them up, take them to fucking bondage prison.
Bondage prison. I kind of like the sound of that. So can your sexual policeman lights be hot pink?
They're whatever color is like in style at that time. I got those multicolored fucking LEDs.
Can you also have a disco ball?
It's got that too.
Like in your sexual policeman
got two disco
car?
balls that hang down for the back near the back tire. Fucking shining on the ground. They're bike nuts. Now trucks have truck nuts.
They
got bike nuts. Yeah.
Are they bigger or smaller than truck nuts?
Fucking bigger. Of course.
Yeah, that's what I figured.
Of course, yeah. They're real disco balls. Each one. That's how big they are.
Click.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wouldn't it be weird if... Oh, now I just had like a really fucked up mental picture of somebody that glued little shards of mirrors all over their testicles. Like to have like little mirror balls.
She's daring me. She's trying to get me to do that.
I'm almost kind of I'm not going to Google it.
Okay.
Maybe I will. But I'm sure somebody in the world has done that.
Yeah.
You know?
So do roll call. Who's in here?
At some point.
They're coming in.
DJ Maniac said that him and Ilsa are meeting up in Brooklyn to go out to a club.
Okay.
So woo, like little 13 o'clock people like
13 o'clock they're
hanging out together.
Meeting online and then hanging out.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Zach says, hey bitches.
Okay.
Hey,
Zach.
Hey you. I just got home from work and my feet hurt.
What? His knees hurt?
No, feet.
Oh, his feet hurt. I thought he said he got back from work and his knees hurt.
Yeah, that would be a whole other... That'd be a whole other thing. What kind of work do you do exactly?
I could imagine. Could imagine.
Oh my god.
You need this hat? You need this hat?
Yeah, you can borrow it.
To give you the strength.
Tom's gonna loan it out for like whenever people need it.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So Bee's Nest is here, right?
Is he here?
So yeah, so I
don't
want to
see him.
show.
Is he talking?
Yeah, right there.
Okay.
What's your problem? You got live chat. Is it on?
It's on live chat.
Okay,
I don't see him though.
You don't know what's happening. So yeah, he sent us all this cool shit here.
Yeah.
He sent us all this cool shit here. I was gonna show this, but yeah, check this out. Got a little
It's a Santa Muerte.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Oh, he finally focused. That's pretty awesome. Yeah. And look at let's do the little one first. This is a little one. Look how cool. Focus. There we go. Awesome, right? Completely awesome. And then also this one. Look at that.
Yeah. Show the back.
Look, isn't that beautiful? Oh
yeah.
My God, that's like so awesome.
That's awesome.
Man,
we're gonna put that back there on that little thing.
Yeah, we can move that. We can move the little puffy witch off there. Right. But put those back there too. Sorry, Pookie's cat toys are all over the floor. The ones that Elsa sent. Like Pookie's really into like those little mousies and those little the little scrunchy balls. So I've been throwing them around for her, but I try to keep it clean in here, but yeah, how's that working out? Not so well, as you can see. So, what are you up to today, Tom?
I've been sleeping. Sleeping and working out and
you know what?
Watching TV.
So like last night, check this shit out.
Yeah.
So, I was working yesterday I was actually finishing House of Leaves because I did a review of it today. So that's what I was doing most of the day, like in the afternoon. So he goes out to on his motorcycle. You went out to the biker bar, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I ended up over there. Yeah,
that's where you always end up.
Yeah.
So he goes out to the biker bar. You were gone probably like 3 hours, something like that. And he comes back at 6 or 6:30 or whatever time it was.
Yeah.
And so I was like, I worked a little bit longer, and I said, yeah, okay, I guess I'm gonna go like relax in the bed or whatever. And I go in there, and he's laying on the bed in all his clothes, going.
Yeah.
And he was, and it's like 6:30 or 7.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, shit. So I said, well, I guess I'll kind of like chill out. So I chill out on the bed, and like I put on Netflix, and I started watching Midnight Mass. And I kind of got through most of the first episode, but all I could hear the whole time was. And I was just kind of like, God fucking damn it. So I had to come back here in my office and watch it because I'm like, I can't concentrate.
See, she's fucking.
I can't. No, it's true though. I can't concentrate on this shit. So I had to stay in my office till like 11 o'clock, like watching Netflix on my computer because I couldn't concentrate on the show because you were snoring so hard.
See what happened was is that the doctor at the HRT clinic fucking put me on a new fucking HRT protocol. Gave me a new kind of fucking test. New kind of testosterone. And I'm leveling up right now. This shit's fucking powerful. Yeah, I'm leveling up. And it's some special shit. And I'm starting to fucking sweat out that Crisco again. Going through puberty number 3.
Oh boy!
Remember when I went through puberty? I'm going through puberty number 3 right now.
Am I gonna have to like pull you out of fights again and stuff?
I'm gonna keep it under wraps.
Okay.
But just sweating out.
Don't go beating up the neighbors and stuff.
Have to take fucking 2 or 3 showers a day. It's like fucking smelling like a fucking wild ass gorilla. Socks fucking getting stinky. Everything fucking stinky. Gotta fucking change everything. And man, you can work out like a fucking beast. If you could only do 15 reps with that same weight on this shit, you do like 20 or 25. And then you're instantly sore afterwards. And as soon as you stop moving, it's going, sleep, sleep, sleep. You're going, remember how it was when I first went on test?
Yeah.
And fucking, it was constantly like morphine, where if you stop moving, you want to sleep. Remember, we were out in front of the club, we were drinking all night. And Aurora was fucking going, yeah, look at him, yeah, fucking, man, you snap right back. And I'm sitting there, and he goes, you getting sleepy, huh? And I go, yeah.
Yeah.
Because that test is making you sleepy. Going, yeah. Did you remember that?
Yeah, kind
Even
of.
people noticing, because she knows.
Yeah.
She's making you sleepy, huh? And I go, yeah. But
I wish
your
something
body
would make me
adjusts
sleepy.
Your body adjusts.
I can't even sleep like through a full night anymore.
Yeah.
I usually wake up every 2 or 3 hours.
You might be able to do something about it.
But I don't know. In some ways, I don't mind it.
You get used to it after a while. You build up a tolerance until you start changing doses or changing compounds, and then it happens all over again.
It was really weird because this morning I woke up and I was kind of like, man, it must be really early because it was really dark. But I don't know if you can hear that. There's like howling wind outside. It has been like completely dark and raining all day, which is fine with me. I don't really care. But honestly, it was almost 8 o'clock, and which is late for me because I usually wake up like around 6:30. But it was so dark this morning that I woke up and I was like, oh fuck it, it's probably only like 5:30 a.m. But it was actually 8 o'clock because it was so fucking dark outside.
Yeah.
Bee's Nest says I wake myself up by my own snoring.
Yeah.
I've done that once or twice. Where, like, if I fell asleep on my back, like, while I was watching a movie, and then, like, I'll snore once and be like, whoa, oh, that's me, okay. But, yeah, so I had to come in here.
She snores, too, though.
I know, but it's like...
There's been times where she's just fucking snoring so loud and everything. But the thing is, I don't throw a fit. She gets mad about it. And
because it wakes me up.
She wakes me up about it. I don't even wake... I wake up. I don't even wake her up. I just push on her until she rolls. She'll roll over.
Yeah, but I've done that before, and you've, like, flipped out, like, blah, 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 blah. And then you get mad.
I remember it.
And I'm just kind of like... And then I'm awake, and then I'll lay there for, like, 2 hours. And I'm like, fuck me. And I was like, now I'm, like, laying here awake. A lot of times I just get up.
If you talk to me, I'll wake up. But if you fucking just push me over, I'll just roll over, usually. It's just you can't engage the brain. You ask me the questions, I'll wake right up.
Well, when I came in the room last night, because I was like gonna watch something on Netflix, because I'm standing there looking at him, laying there, and I'm just kind of like, shit. Should I just like try to watch something in here? And or should I not wake him up? And I wasn't really sure. And then I was like, fuck it. And I started watching something. And then I was kind of like, hey. And like, he just didn't. He just laid there snoring the whole time. So I was just kind of like, well, guess I'll go back in my office and watch TV because I can't hear anything. I have to put the subtitles on anyway because I'm deaf. But
that was the first day on that new protocol they got me on. See.
Well, that was what was weird is that so you slept essentially from like 7 p.m. until I guess it was like 11.
I woke up a couple times like in the morning and then I went back to sleep. Like I woke up
it's like 6, and then I came in and went to bed. 6. Zach says, Jenny, did you ever tell Tom about that script? I did you read once. I was looking through it recently. I forgot how good it was. I don't remember. I don't think so. What are you doing back there?
She's She don't poop.
Do you know what? Yeah, I don't think I did actually. I don't think I did. I was laughing at something Pookie did earlier. I was in here recording, and I'm like sitting in this spot, and I was like recording a book review, and Pookie was sleeping in the chair behind me, like she usually does, because she likes to hang out with Mama, but she's like sleeping. And so I'd been talking for about 20 minutes, and all of a sudden from behind me I hear, burr, 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 burr. Yeah. And she was like laying there with her paw over her face, but she kind of like sat up like that, and went, like, shut up, Mama. Why are you talking? Yeah. You're keeping me awake.
Yeah, I walked in here this morning and I said, "What's up, Pookie?" She goes, "Don't talk to me."
She's cranky until she gets her coffee.
It's funny. She talks. She vocalizes and stuff. She'll answer questions. Hey, how you doing? Ma. It's fucking funny. She knows when you're talking to her.
Even though she's not much of a meower.
No.
She always kind of goes. Brr.
She also doesn't hiss. She just attacks Beijing, and Beijing hisses and runs, and she'll be back there fucking thinking it's funny.
Yeah, well, Beijing pulled that thing yesterday where Beijing came swishing through this office yesterday. Yeah. So she's trying to, like, assert her dominance. She's like, hey, I own the second floor too, bitch. Yeah. And then, I don't know. So I was like, ooh, you got past the little Pookie checkpoint. Yeah. Because Pookie stands there by the thing with her little paw sticking out through the bars. And, like, because she does it, like, if I go up and down, too, like, I'm going to the laundry room or something, and I come out, and she kind of, like, swishes at my leg, like, while I'm coming up.
So today is Open Lines Friday. Everybody's getting ready to go out and party.
Open Lines.
We can talk about anything today. Any kind of questions you guys have about paranormal stuff, fucking anything. You know, if you guys want to talk about fucking, if you want Nostradamus to try to predict the future, I can even do future headlines, survivalism, fucking how to survive the damn apocalypse. Fucking survival skills, military skills, anything. Everything is on the fucking table. Including fucking health and fucking working out or weight loss or recomposition.
Tom's like, please ask me about that. Please ask me about that. Please ask me about that.
We can talk about 80s movies.
Or, we can talk about some stuff that Jenny likes too.
Well, well, I'm not saying that. I'm just going through the whole list. You know, we always talk about you pick the topics all the time. Well, the audience picks the topics.
Yeah, like
that's true.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Trey says my girlfriends and ex-wife have all said that I don't snore. I guess that's a good thing. Yeah, it is. It's just kind of like, man, I try not to like ever fall asleep on my back. Because I think that's the only time I do, but
yeah,
you know what I mean?
It is when you're on your back.
Yeah, but I don't, I usually sleep on my side.
Yeah.
If I'll fall asleep, like sometimes if I'm watching something, like sometimes I'll fall asleep on my back and then I'll start to snore. But like I said, a lot of times I'll wake myself up because I'll be like, and it'll wake me up. Thank you, Dermot. London Calling. Tom's sexy image has reminded me of William Friedkin's Cruising from 1980. A review of that would be interesting. Have you seen it?
That's the gay scene from the 80s?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
It's good. I watched it probably like 6 months ago, I think I watched it. I'd seen it before, but it had been like many years, and I just wanted to revisit it. It's good. Right. I liked it a lot.
Right. Okay, Bee's Nest asked me what the pros and cons of Full Metal Jacket ammo are. There are no cons. Everything's a pro with Full Metal Jacket.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah. Okay. I used to be a fucking big believer in the hollow points. Hollow point theories for law enforcement out of pistol caliber cartridges and rifles. Actually, with rifles and hunting, it did make a difference. We've noticed that in the field. But there's a lot of stuff that you would think that a hollow point bullet would dominate all military and law enforcement scenarios, and I'm going to say no. Full Metal Jacket does. They'll come out and say, well, it has to do with preventing over penetration so the bullet doesn't go through the target or guy you're aiming and hit an innocent bystander. That has never happened in the history of law enforcement, even with Full Metal Jackets. Statistically, that's not a problem. Anything that kills you, any hollow point, any strike with a hollow point bullet would have also killed you if it was Full Metal Jacket. Anybody who's ever survived a Full Metal Jacket hit, they would have survived it also if it was a hollow point. That whole hollow point thing, I think it was more marketing gimmick looking back on it. Even though I believed it. Bought a lot of them, shot a lot of them. It made a difference in animals, in smaller calibers. Things like Nosler ballistic tips out of 308 and stuff would hit deer. We tried different bullet weights and we were hand loading them, keeping track of what the velocity was. We were mostly what made the difference and made the stopping power wasn't really that bullet configuration. It was shot placement. Shot placement's everything. So I started to question the Full Metal Jacket. Or started to question hollow points. Now there's one exception. There's something called a company called Underwood makes something called Extreme Penetrator, and it looks like it's a solid copper bullet. If I remember correctly, I think it's all copper. And it's got a head on it, looks like a Phillips screwdriver. And that thing penetrates better than any Full Metal Jacket. And when you look at the wound ballistics on it, it's as good as a hollow point. And it doesn't expand at all. It's just fluid dynamics. And that's the future. I think hollow points are probably obsolete now that stuff like that exists. Because it can do both jobs. That thing will go through more steel than a Full Metal Jacket.
Question for Tom. Are you an extreme penetrator?
I am an extreme I'm an extreme penetrator. I'm an extreme violator. I'm the dominator. Where's my bull whip? Actually, I'm don't worry about it. I got that shit coming. I got my dominator outfit coming.
His dominator outfit.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Gramthars Hammer also has a question. Question for Tom. Yeah. The Chinese government is telling its population to stock up in case of emergency. Yeah. Should we be readying for war as well? Not with them. Not with China. If anything happens in the United States, it's going to be two different interpretations of America trying to separate from one another. You might end up with something temporarily like East Germany and West Germany. Although there won't be a civil war in the conventional sense like you had in the first thing that they called the Civil War, which was not a civil war. It was a war between states, a war of secession. It was the beginning of the America in the form of an empire. All that shit was fucking dastardly. The history behind the Civil War is pretty contaminated with a bunch of partisan bullshit. You just had two different cultures that were both in the United States that just couldn't stand each other. And then slavery became an issue. But the people that fought on the South, if you asked them, were you fighting to defend slavery? They're like, no. They didn't see it that way on the ground. They just saw it as that they were fighting to defend their homeland against an ethnic invader. That they just couldn't stand it. And a lot of stuff has been lost in modern history. A lot of the details have been erased. What was being said in newspapers on both sides. There was a big ethnic component to that. The South was a lot more kind of Celtic and Germanic ethnicity to it, and the whites in the North were just more Anglo. And this was kind of a blood feud that went back into the honky motherland. We touched on it a couple times. Some modern people get very confused about America and race. Nationality and race were considered to be the same thing in the 1800s. If you descended from the Irish, then that was your race. You were Irish. If you descended from the English, then that was your race. You were English, an Anglo-American or an Irish-American. The same thing. Even though they were mixing and they were changing their last names, everyone was trying to appear as English as possible in certain periods of history. You didn't want to look like an alien invading ethnic minority
like Irish or German or Hungarian. Although now later on in the 20th century that didn't matter as much, but in the 18th century, even the 19th century it did. In the 18th century it did too.
They had sticks up their butts back then.
Yeah, well, they were bad blood from back in Europe. You know, same shit would have went down if the United States was colonized by Africans. They would be bad blood of what happened back in Africa 100 years before that between those tribes. It was the same dynamic. So there was, like I said, the war between the states had an ethnic component to it. It won't be like that again. It won't be a conventional war. It will be this new 5th generation war, which does not involve any standing armies. It's political, it's propaganda, it's memes, mind control. You see, conventional warfare, and I was trained for it, and I was trained for the ultimate incarnation of fucking conventional war, and that was World War III, which involved fucking nuclear and biological weapons and everything. That's what we were training for. That war never happened. But all of that is now obsolete. In that war, World War III style, which would have been 3rd generation, I think, or 4th generation. I think 4th generation warfare. No, I think it was 3rd. I think is what they called it. It wouldn't have worked either. If you go back through the history of warfare, it wasn't the armies and the weapons that won. What happened is that somebody gave up. Here's an example. So it was always a battle of wills. It wasn't really never a battle between conventional armies. Like, for instance, in the 1700s, when we were trying to separate from the English Empire, we never really won any battles against the British. They kicked our asses mostly. And after that thing happened, the British never really considered us to be a separate nation from them. They still considered us a colony. They didn't recognize anything that we called a victory. They were just like, nah, that's still Britain over there. And that went on until the 1800s, until the Battle of 1812 and with Jackson. And the British fucking came down, fucked up the White House and attacked the Capitol and fucking burned a bunch of shit down. I think they burned the White House down. Dolly Madison and President Madison fucking ran. It was just fucking chaos. The British decisively kicked our asses in that battle. We didn't win that war. Not really. It's just the British gave up. They realized that we can't control this. We can't, the more we beat up on these Americans, the less they'll listen to us. So they just gave up and went home. And that was the same thing that happened to us in Vietnam and Afghanistan and all these other little fucking Korea was kind of like that. And other people's wars are kind of like that. If you're not killing them all out to the last man and performing genocide on them, you're not going to win until they give up. And they tend not to give up. So it doesn't work. This new 5th generation does work. There's no open fighting. You just fucking bombard the enemy with lies, bullshit, propaganda, get them to destroy themselves, fragment their own country, get them to hate themselves, get them to stop reproducing, and then you just take them out of a leadership position on the world stage. That's how you do it. And then when you're done with them, they don't even know that they were attacked. You do it by buying up all their media and bribing their politicians and bribing their fucking oligarchs to sell out the nation. And that's what's happening now. This is real war. And it's called 5th generational warfare. And they just get you to quit. And that works. That's a warfare that works. These trinkets, these fucking jets and tanks and shit like that doesn't work. You could send a tank out. That's why when the Soviet Union was falling apart, they didn't really call the army out. They knew they wouldn't do anything. Those tanks would just sit there. What are they going to do? Shoot at civilians? Nobody's listening. And that's how they go. That's how countries fall apart.
Zach says, here's a topic. Favorite movie not in the horror genre? Like, are there any dramas you like, for instance? Favorite drama, Amadeus.
Yeah.
Favorite
Pretty
comedy, the original Ghostbusters. Although there's a lot of competition. There's a lot of competition for both. Young Frankenstein is good, too.
My favorite comedy was Idiocracy. That was fucking good. I like that one.
I don't know. There's a really lot of awesome movies that came out like in the 80s and 90s that I'm super into. Like I said, I really, really like Amadeus. That was the first movie that I bought on DVD, and I still rewatch it every year or so. I'm also really into Dangerous Liaisons. I like that a lot too. Yeah, so there's a shit ton of movies. I like all different kind of movies. I'll watch pretty much anything, to be honest with you, if it's good. Yeah. I don't give a crap what like genre it is. Horror is my favorite. That's just what I always kind of gravitate to. But if shit's good, like I said, comedies are kind of like hit or miss for me because I have a really peculiar like sense of humor. So a lot of comedies I watch and they're just like not that funny to me. But I don't know. But yeah, so that's kind of like the hardest thing to get right in my eyes. But Esther says, Jenny, A24 and the Coen brothers are coming with The Tragedy of Macbeth starring Denzel Washington and Frances McDormand in mid-January, shot in black and white. Holy shit. All right, I'm gonna hop on that because, man, that's going to be awesome. That's going to be awesome. Macbeth is my favorite Shakespeare play. Gramthars says, a question for Tom. Based on your experience, what are the most effective methods to tame a wild woman? This should be good.
Wild woman. I don't know how you defend. How do you actually
like one of the
how do you define a wild woman? There's always a way, but the thing is you might not want to tame a wild woman. You might just want to fucking ride that wave. You know what I'm talking about? You just appeal to the woman. That's how you do it. If you can't appeal to her, then then you might need to move on, Man's got to understand his limits. I've seen all kinds of dudes try to fucking pick up women in bars, and that fucking woman's like 4 times his fucking caliber. You know what I mean? And he doesn't even have a chance. So he just looks like a fucking fool,
Well, I don't know. And like I said, this is a generalization, obviously. Not everybody, fits into these categories. But in general, in a very broad sense, dudes, no matter what they look like or no matter what they act like, they tend to overestimate. They tend to be overconfident. And women, no matter what they look like, tend to be underconfident. Not always, but in broad strokes. So that's why you kind of see these things where these dudes who are just kind of like not even all that, you see them kind of like aiming much higher than they probably should be aiming. Yeah. Just because they really don't think that, they think they're awesome. Even though there's nothing really to back that up.
That's the thing that always gets me. It's kind of like...
Whereas I've known women, I've had women friends who were like gorgeous and awesome and everything like that, and just like thought they were pieces of shit and were like deformed and stuff. You know what I mean? It's very, very common.
Yeah, I guess so. Guys don't really see it because they don't really show that side to us.
Yeah. So you have to kind of keep that on the down low.
They don't show us, so you don't know who's like that. Mm-hmm. But I just find it fucking very myopic, very fucking like self-centered. They got this dude's looking at some chick, and physically, I'm not even talking about her personality, because that's really not the first thing guys see. All right, the guys are just very visual. They're going for how things look and the way she behaves, her mannerisms and stuff, what she's wearing. And she might be like a 9 out of 10 or a 10 out of 10 or a fucking 11 out of 10. And this dude's going, oh yeah. And he can't figure out why he can't get that. And you're looking at him, and he's like a 3.
Well, and we got into this a little bit like on the Incels show, and then what happens is that dude, like he gets mad, like he goes up and like hits on her, and she's just kind of like, dismissive, or no, I'm with somebody or something like that, and then he's like, bitch, or dyke.
Yeah, or some shit like that.
Or some shit like that. Dude, like, who wouldn't want to fuck me? I'm so awesome.
Yeah. First of all, what you're wearing is fucked up. Okay, that's the first thing. What you're wearing is totally.
Are those Crocs?
Yeah. All right. Just by the way she's dressed, she's not looking for you. Okay. All right. That's the first thing. Second thing is, dude, you don't have any damn money. You know what I mean? You don't have a job. Okay. That's another. 3, dude, you ugly.
Well, it's like I said, it's not even so much that, because it's like
you're way overweight and fucking, you know what I mean? You really haven't done anything. You haven't taken care of yourself. You don't fucking have any physicality to you. That woman is fucking built like a ballet dancer, and you're a fucking bowl of jelly. And you think you're fucking crazy. It's just, dudes have to fucking understand who they are. Know thyself. Okay.
I kind of feel like it was maybe all those 90s sitcoms that always had like a pudgy dude with a super hot wife.
Yeah, that's TV.
Yeah.
That's another thing. These movies and televisions, I think you talk to the average 100 IQ fucking John Q. Public normie, most of their opinions and expectations of the world have come from fucking cheap-ass television programs and fucking second-rate movies and just Hollywood movies. And there is no reality in those things. In any of those movies. Well, most of them don't have any reality in them.
Well, yeah, it's fiction.
You know?
It's kind of based on...
You know...
shit that's like sort of people can relate to, but it's like it's dramatized, it's fictionalized.
Yeah. And also that everybody in those movies is an actor. That's not, you know, fucking like they'll show a boardroom or something in some big corporation. That's actors playing people in boardrooms. You go into a real boardroom, they're not going to look like that. You know, they're not going to look like that at all.
Yeah, not everybody looks like
right, and there's probably not going to be any diversity. You know, you go into a banking boardroom, and you're going to see one kind of dude. 80-year-old white dudes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Pretty much.
That's who runs those banks.
Gramthars Hammer says, my wife is 13 years younger than me and totally hot. I way overplayed the hand I was dealt.
Got lucky.
Thank you again, Zach. A movie I love is Chinatown. That is pretty awesome. Like I said, there's a lot of competition. Amadeus was just the first one I thought of because I've seen that movie a million times. It's beautifully shot and the acting is super subtle, which is weird because it's Jack Nicholson.
Yeah.
To be honest, he's kind of sexy in it too. Jack Nicholson was actually kind of sexy back in the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although he was one of those guys, I kind of feel like this happened with a lot of actors that generation, where they seemed much older than they actually were, like before. Like they almost seemed like not old guys, but they almost seemed like middle-aged when they were still young.
Yeah.
I mean, I've seen Jack Nicholson like when he was really young, like in Little. No, I was gonna say like in Little Shop of Horrors, like the Roger Corman one from the '60s, and he looks real young in that, and I'm like, wow, look how foxy he was back then. But it just seems like once the '70s came along, he already looked middle-aged, even though he wasn't.
Drinking heavy, I think, and just the lifestyle.
We talk about that a lot, like because I do kind of feel like that. I don't know, man. That happened a lot, like with those actors.
Most of those dudes did not work out. That's part of it. They thought a man was he had to just be strong and powerful by force of his own will. Working out was cheating. I
can see that.
All you gotta do is just look at some of those fucking action movies of the time. Those dudes are fucking scrawny. Fucking Clint Eastwood was a scrawny motherfucker. Okay, scrawny. All right, he's like a kite. That dude wouldn't weigh anything. Some of them though were fucking badass. Charles Bronson. You look at Charles Bronson. He's about my size, I think, by looking at the build and his height and build compared to other people, because they always lie about how tall they are. I think they claim Charles Bronson is like fucking 5'8", and I'm going, nah. Charles Bronson's probably more like 5'6".
I kind of feel like if you're under 5'8", if you're a man, they always just say 5'8".
5'8".
Even though, like I said, that's so dumb. It's like I don't know. I guess that's something. Maybe that's a thing, but it was literally never anything that I thought about, like in relation to like, oh, that man's short.
Go Google it, man. Go look at fucking Charles Bronson in his 40s and 50s with his shirt off. You can Google them fucking photos. He was fucking ready for action. All right, he was fucking twice my size. He was fucking big. And he understood about fucking HRT and fucking anabolics. All that technology was there. It's just that only gym rats knew about it. And real high-tech doctors, which in those days was one of the same things. Those doctors that were prescribing that shit were in those gyms working out with those dudes. They were also researching the development of that shit. And it was happening in California because they were making it all in Mexico. That's where all that shit came from. That's why fucking Muscle Beach and Arnie and all those guys, that was all Mexican steroids and Mexican testosterone and shit. But if you're in your 40s, man, after 35, you're a man. You're going to start losing muscle mass. Your fucking your shit's going to slow down. You're going to start getting fat. It's just how it is. Ask my fucking boy Bee's Nest. That's my student right there. He went on HRT. I've been helping him online. He's lost nearly 100 pounds. Oh, nearly 100, because his hormones are right. He can now metabolize. I think he said you lost, what, 80 pounds, Bees? 80 pounds just in what, maybe 4 or 5 months? And just basic weightlifting. Just nothing, but it's just because your hormones are right. Once you get that ability to synthesize protein and burn fat like you had it back when you were 15 or 16, you'll lose a lot of weight just eating regular food. Remember how fast you burned shit off when you were a kid? You just get that back. The technology's there. There's no downside. Just don't abuse it. But hard to abuse it when you're in your 40s or 50s because you don't have enough time left to really abuse much. I mean, you really have to overdo it. And if you had heart stents or if you have a weak heart, I wouldn't recommend it. Go check it out with your doctor and get an HRT clinic before it's too late. That's my. I recommend that to men and women, because women need testosterone too after menopause. It's a very small dose. Helps out a lot.
It's just funny to me too. A lot of times, I mean, this just goes to show, but a lot of people say like when they were younger, when they were teenagers, it's like, oh, I could eat whatever I wanted and lose weight. It's like I never had that luxury.
Had to do it the way you were androgenized.
So I mean, seriously, I was skinny when I was a kid, but as soon as I went through puberty, I started to pork out.
Yeah, it just
immediately.
Just had to do with the way you were androgenized.
So I didn't have that thing and some girls have it too, where they can just like eat like crap and until they're in their 20s and then they start getting fat. But it's like I didn't ever have that.
It was probably just something having to do with the aromatization of testosterone into estrogen or estrogen production. Had you gotten blood tests back then, and if they knew, if science wasn't that good when we were kids anyway.
That's true.
They didn't know what was going on during a lot of those. It's normal. She'll outgrow it, shit like that. They could have gone in there and fucking went, yeah, okay, she needs a this and that, and that'll fucking. She needs to have her hormones slightly more balanced, and you probably would have stayed the same way, something like that. And shit, man, going back in time, I'm 5'6", but shit, back in those days, if I were to. Knowing what they know now, I could have gone to the fucking one of those clinics and say, man, I'm not as tall as I want to be. My bones haven't solidified. They give you HGH and you'll pick up another 3 inches of fucking height right there before your skeleton's fucking set. They're doing that. We know we had students, female writing students, that weren't growing very big. And their parents sent them to the fucking thing and gave them some shots, and the next thing you know, you see her and she's fucking 5'7". Happened in like fucking 4 or 5 months.
Yeah, I just got to 5'2", and
5'7".
Then stopped.
Yeah, long bones, and turned her into like a ballerina.
They're talking about like funny scenes in movies. Scenes in the prostitute's apartment in Mighty Aphrodite. Yeah, I remember that one. I saw that in the theater, actually. That was really good. Gramthars' favorites at the moment, The Wrestler. Oh my god, that movie's amazing. Yeah. Actually, have you seen that with Mickey Rourke?
No.
You'd probably like that, actually. You should say. I saw that in the theater, too. Sideways, also good. I think I saw that in the theater, too.
He's not answering to me.
Yeah. Camp Guy says, oh, Raising Arizona. Yeah, I forgot about that one. That's another favorite comedy of mine, actually. And I still haven't seen Oh Brother, Where Art Thou? I really need to see that.
He just says, yeah, weight's coming off. He lost around 80. He says, I recommend any man over 40 get on test. Yep.
Well, like I said, in general, I think it's always been easier for men to lose weight than women. Women's bodies just like to hang on to it, so it's harder.
Hormone therapy.
No, I'm just saying, like, in general.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, in general.
Women's bodies are just kind of like, no, we need that fat just in case.
Yeah, women are not as hormonal in terms of testosterone as men, and a woman's main hormone is testosterone. People think it's estrogen. It isn't. It's mostly test. It's just that they have 10 times less than a man of it, and when they get pregnant, they start to aromatize. They start to produce and aromatize more estrogen somehow. Estrogen is about being kind of watery and pudgy, getting ready for birth. Turn you into a damn human egg like an alien. So it's like that. That's what estrogen does. But if you look at those real fucking hot Instagram models. That's test and anabolics. Make you real lean, shapely. But it can happen within the normal realm too. Like, you know, some girls just genetically have that. So, depends on what their test levels are.
Sorry, I was laughing at Camp Guy quoting Raising Arizona. The doctor explained that her womb was a rocky place where my seed could find no purchase.
Yeah.
I just really like. I think when we watched that when Sophie was here, because me and Sophie really like that movie. But man, I love that movie so much. I have it on DVD somewhere. Yeah, that's actually that's not from Raising Arizona. I think that's from Wild at Heart, Gramthars. Is it not? Because isn't that the one where because Laura Dern was in Wild at Heart, the David Lynch movie. I need to get that on Blu-ray me I saw that movie so many times, like growing up, and I love that one too. Willem Dafoe's in that, and then me and my friends used to quote each other all the time, like in high school about the thing about the dog and Wizard of Oz. So I don't even remember what it was, but it was fucking funny. Yeah, it was Wild at Heart. That's what I thought. Yeah, because he calls her Peanut. I remember that. Death Becomes Her. Yeah, that's also a good one. We just reviewed that one not too long ago. Had you ever seen that before we reviewed it? Yeah. I really like that one too. That was another one that was on cable all the time. Yeah, Laura Dern doesn't age. She really doesn't. I mean, now I haven't seen her in a while. I saw her. Obviously, I saw her in Inland Empire, but that was a long time ago.
We'll get some more of this ice.
Okay.
Actually, I turned the ice maker off, so we're fucked. We're real low on ice.
So we're just gonna have to drink room temperature.
It's down there making ice.
Temperature vodka.
Hopefully, it's making ice as we're doing the show. Well, the juice is cold.
Okay, that's true.
Here. That's the last of that.
All right.
I'll go down there and get some more later.
I'm making my lunch. That was Jingle Dell. Good old Crispin Glover. Oh my God. Crispin Glover was like such a weird dude. Well, I'm sure he's still a weird dude. One of these days he was in a remake of Ben, like the Rat movie, right? I think the original is on Tubi, but I haven't seen I saw the remake with Crispin Glover, but he just seems like a really, really weird dude.
Yeah, something's wrong with him.
That's okay though. I mean, you know, he made a whole fucking career out of it. If you're gonna be a weirdo, let's like lean into the shit.
He was making a movie with a bunch of like mentally retarded kids in it. Remember that one? They all played a role. I don't know if he ever finished it. He was catching all kinds of flack about it.
I don't. How long ago was that?
Oh, 20, 30 years ago.
That sounds vaguely familiar.
Yeah. I think he was in it, and then everybody else was like... But what was funny is, like... I think they were just supposed to be normal people, but everybody in it was mentally retarded. But they weren't supposed to be. They were just playing normal roles. And I don't know. You know how... Because he's real into the surrealism and stuff.
Yeah.
So, that's...
Did you guys ever see Bartleby? Which was a loose adaptation of Bartleby the Scrivener, where it was basically about a dude that goes to work at a place and causes all kind of chaos because, quote unquote, I would prefer not to. Like everything they ask him to do, he's like, I'd prefer not to.
DJ Maniac's answering it. He answered what I said.
Yeah, the one Tom is talking about is his long-form art project called What Is It?
Okay. It's in 3 parts, he said.
I love it.
Did it come out? Was it released?
I don't know. Yeah, DJ Maniac says, oh, I loved Bartleby. I did too. I really want to see that again, actually. Me and my friend used to watch that all the time. Holy crap. I had that one on DVD too. I don't know what happened to it. But yeah, that was a really good one. Man, Crispin Glover. You know what? It's like I said, if you're going to be weird like that, just fucking lean into it, man. It's like, and that's not... The thing about him that I like is that he's legitimately weird. That's not a pose. You know what I mean? And I like that because it's sad because there's so many people that are genuinely weird and they're not the kind of weird that would get them the kind of accolades that Crispin Glover would get.
He says that he screens it from time to time at film festivals.
Really?
Yeah. I would actually like to see it.
Now I'm intrigued.
Yeah. You could probably see it. You could probably see it on YouTube or something.
Yeah, we'll have to look that shit up.
Yeah.
DJ Maniac says he's also written a number of weird fiction books. Yeah, I thought he had. I haven't read any of them, though, because but...
He had a house that's filled with, like, gynecological tables and shit like that.
Oh, very Cronenberg.
Yeah. Gynecological stuff and medical stuff in his house.
So what, he had the
stirrups and
the
shit.
Stirrups with this thing?
Yeah, and just all kinds of weird shit in his house. That was like his furniture.
All right. Well, the table with the stirrups on it, you could use that for things.
No. I think what it was is that he just collected weird junk and put it in his house. Anything that was kind of shocking.
But like I said, some people, there's a fine line between doing that as a pose, as in, look how weird I am.
Yeah.
And doing that because you're a genuinely weird person who's into that kind of shit.
I don't think he's wealthy either.
I don't think so either.
No, I remember I was watching the David Letterman show, and David Letterman kicked him off the fucking show. He started, kick, and he started doing karate and shit, and he almost kicked David Letterman in the fucking head. And it's like, okay, that's it, okay, bye, you're out of here. And then they went to a commercial. And then when they came back, he wasn't there. And then they stalled for time through the segment, and then they brought in the next guest. Yeah, and that was the last time I saw Crispin Glover.
Aw.
Yeah.
I wonder what he's doing nowadays.
I don't know. And I don't think that was an act. He's on something.
That's what I mean. I don't think, I don't know.
He's on something.
I don't know. Like I said, he might just be a weird person.
Weird person on drugs.
Well, yeah, that probably doesn't help. But, Bee's Nest said, was Andy Warhol truly weird or just acting? I kind of see with Andy Warhol, it was hard to tell, but I do kind of feel like that was mostly a pose.
He was LARPing.
He hung out with a lot of genuinely weird people.
Yeah.
But I don't know. There's kind of like, sometimes it's hard to tell, but I don't know. Sometimes if you try to be weird, it comes across as like try hard and kind of desperate. And
that
I'm
whole
not
scene
into
with
it.
him and Edie Sedgwick and fucking Twiggy and fucking those people,
Velvet Underground
people, I think they're posers. I think they were ahead of their time in some ways, in many ways actually, especially musically. They were kind of almost like proto-gothic or proto-cold wave types, kind of like, that was kind of like, from that kind of came some really cool shit. But I think they were also kind of hamming it up, if you ask me. They're kind of
I didn't get that so much from like the members of the Velvet Underground.
No.
But from people more like Andy Warhol, did kind of where they seemed at least self-aware enough to be like, we're gonna do weird stuff for the just sake of being weird.
Yeah, I was gonna say the people who weren't very talented were putting it on. The people from the Velvet Underground were kind of talented. Even Nico, even though she couldn't hold a tune, was still kind of talented in a way. She kind of had a rustic charm to her voice. She kind of was like a goth singer, really. A lot of the girls.
Well, yeah, I mean, the Marble Index. A lot of people consider that like a proto goth album. So from early '70s.
But Edie was just a cutie, just high as shit, and famous for being high and cute. And Twiggy famous for being high and being skitty.
Yeah, being like
and cute too.
Even in an era where everybody was like coke or skinny.
Yeah. And I think Warhol had a good eye for certain things. But he was mostly just manipulating the media at the time, and but from what I've read and heard about him, through other people, just me not personally, but reading what they said about him, and knowing people in the Boston scene in the early 90s who kind of, some of the old ones who were in their 50s when I knew them back then, kind of came out of that era. They were all kind of like that, a little bit poserish, kind of.
Well, like I said, I kind of feel like he had a good instinct for what was going to be like the next big thing.
Yeah.
But he, like I said, he was at least self-aware enough to be able to manipulate opinion to how he wanted.
That's what I was gonna say.
So like I said, it's almost kind of like so there's some kind of calculating.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it is. I think that if you're trying too hard to be weird, like you're trying to, I'm going to capture the weird market, whatever that is. So I think there's like a calculating thing behind it, which is really like unappealing to me.
Yeah.
Rather than somebody that is just genuinely weird and people just like came across them and just people kind of organically like them because like, look how fucking weird that is. Yeah. You know, like I said, there's a fine line and sometimes you can't really tell, but I genuinely don't like if people are trying to be weird.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I think they kind of were a little bit. They were trying to be. Salvador Dali kind of did that. But he was a weird dude, too. But Salvador Dali was also a product of the media. They knew how to play the media.
Yeah.
That's what they were. But so did other guys like Bowie. They were playing the media. They knew how to get what they want. They knew who the media, who they were as individuals, what they were like, and knew how to appeal to them personally to get them to write some shit about them. And guy like Warhol could see something that was cool and say this is going to be the next biggest thing. And the way the media would write about it, because they had a positive view of Warhol, they would make sure that would happen. So they would kind of like fulfill. It was like fulfilling a prophecy. You know, they would make sure that would become the next thing, even though it probably didn't stick, because a lot of the shit that he did, people kind of laughed at it, like taking a fucking a Ferrari and painting it with a finger paint. It was kind of a joke, you know. People didn't start finger painting Ferraris.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was just a one-time thing.
Thank you, Victor.
What do you say?
He gave us a super chat.
Okay.
And it says, hey, I made it. I missed you people. We missed you too. And also, thank you again, Zach. I know a lot of people think Warhol was on the spectrum. Maybe. Personally, I think Kubrick was too. Yeah, I definitely think probably Stanley Kubrick
I don't think what's his name was, though. Shit.
Andy Warhol?
Yeah, I don't think Warhol was on the spectrum, though. He was just, I think based on what they said about him, you're dealing with a kind of a shy, gay dude who's basically still kind of semi-closeted. He liked young, pretty guys and took pictures of them, and that was how you met Andy Warhol, is fucking show him some pretty boys and fucking offer to do a photo shoot type of deal, and then he'd be friends with you. But he didn't really, I don't recall him ever really coming out behind that. I don't even think he really came out as gay. I think he just left people wondering. And
well, there was a certain thing going on around then where you just kind of like kept shit ambiguous. Yeah. Like that was cooler, apparently.
It was like more cool. That was kind of the way it was in the goth scene.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Yeah.
It's the way shit's going on now with the LGBT thing and fucking way these college kids and everything, and their gender pronouns and wearing everything on their fucking sleeve. That would have been very uncool in the goth scene. Real uncool. To put yourself into any kind of a box. Everything was ambiguous, and it was nobody else's business. And it was just another interpretation of what they're talking about, I guess, in a certain way. The guys all kind of usually wanted to have kind of an androgyny to them. That was the look of a lot of the goth scene. They could sometimes like come off as gay, but they weren't. Some of them were, but most of them weren't. It was just kind of like a part of that style. But it wasn't cool to say you were straight or gay or anything.
Yeah, everyone was just kind of like,
yeah,
whatever.
It was kind of like being goth. Being goth was a fucking sexual orientation to itself. That's kind of
where we're just kind of like whatever comes along.
Yeah. And then
if it comes along and we like it, then we're not really worried about it.
that was the air that you had to have. It wasn't that way in reality all the time. You know what I mean? Like
but that was kind of like the one image that you wanted to protect.
Especially with the girls. The girls would pull off this fucking big fucking like trisexual type thing. You know, until it was like, okay, let's go fuck this girl. Oh no, I can't. Please, you talk your way out of it. Like, what are you talking about? You know, I thought that. And then she'd make up some kind of excuse. So. There was a lot of fucking imitation bisexual women in there, and there was all kinds of stuff like that.
Well, shit, man, I think even back in the 80s, the Dead Milkman made fun of that.
Yeah.
Like, talking about everybody in the goth scene was like a fake bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, it's not entirely true, but there is some truth to it.
There were some legitimate ones in there.
Yeah. There was some truth to it. Like, I'd say everybody wanted to be pansexual, I guess.
Yeah.
Gramthars Hammer says, fake weirdos, Tom Green and Andy Dick. Oh, yeah, I'll agree. Those two, I never could get behind those two guys. Like I said, that they're very, very try-hard. Somebody also brought up John Waters. I fucking love John Waters. Yeah. John Waters is kind of like the rare exception where he's just like a genuine weirdo, but he's also like super charming and awesome.
Yeah, he's the real thing, that guy.
Like he can, which is weird. You don't usually see those two things together, but yeah, he genuinely loves weird shit and gross shit. Like he's into it. That's not a pose. But he's also just like so cute and endearing that you just can't not. How can you not love John Waters? I mean, seriously, everybody loves John Waters.
Another one that was kind of a fake, but everybody loves him. David Bowie. David Bowie, fake bisexual.
See, the thing about him though is that David Bowie. He never struck me as a weird person.
No. Classy.
Yeah, he's not a weird person.
No, classy and artistic. Well, some people might think he was weird.
Well, yeah, but from my point of view, he's not weird.
Yeah.
Not at all.
Yeah.
Like I said, all this, I was like, that's not weird.
His dying words, this is true now, his dying words were, tell them I was a closet heterosexual.
Yeah. Gramthars Hammer also says, fake weirdos, Marilyn Manson.
Yeah.
Big time.
Yeah.
And Bjork.
Yeah.
Bjork seems kind of weird for
drugs,
real.
I think. Drugs.
But especially maybe back in her back in her Sugar Cubes days.
Yeah.
But yeah, Marilyn Manson, that is completely calculated. And honestly, I saw, what was that Marilyn Manson band documentary they did back in the 90s? I somehow ended up watching that. I must have rented it from Blockbuster or something. And the only thing I remember from that was them just trying really, really hard to be shocking and gross.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, let's have one of the band members poop on the carpet, and then one of us will pick it up with a fork and eat it. And I'm just kind of like...
Which they probably didn't do.
Okay. I'm like, one, Gigi Allen already did that shit, and two, why?
It's funny, you mentioned two people that were friends of my friends. Dimitri's friends with Marilyn Manson. They grew up together.
Yeah.
Yeah. And he knew him, because he's from here.
Yeah.
But our friend Dimitri, who's a DJ that we work with, he came up with Marilyn Manson. He said he was a lot different back then. I ain't gonna fucking talk about him though. He kind of liked him, but he thought that he went down a bad path of being kind of a fake. That's kind of one of the things. Kind of selling out a little bit.
Yeah, I kind of got that.
Yeah, and when I was in Boston, I hung out with a dude fucking named Tyrone. It's the only white dude I ever knew that fucking was named Tyrone. And Tyrone fucking... He was in another punk rock band, and I always forgetting which one it was. I wanted to say it was in the Dead Boys, but it wasn't. He knew the Dead Boys, and he was in another band. I had never heard of it, but it had records and shit. And he knew Gigi Allen. He said that Gigi Allen, when he started, was really good until he went on a couple of talk shows. There was acting a fool on a talk show, and he realized that he could make more money and draw a bigger crowd and wouldn't have to play
by being outrageous.
By being outrageous and getting arrested.
Hey, I'm gonna shit in my hand and throw it at the audience and shit like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
He got more attention and made more money doing that, and they wouldn't even play the show. And Ty kind of got pissed at him. He got locked up. One day, fucking Gigi got locked up and got killed in prison. And not in real prison, he was just in jail. I think it happened in central lockup. He was only going to be in there for a few hours, and somebody killed him because he was acting an ass. And Gigi was not a big dude.
Yeah.
I mean, he's probably bigger than your average little punk rocker, but he wasn't fucking physically fit or anything. Those dudes fucking worked him over in there. He probably said something crazy. He didn't care about getting his ass beat. But he didn't realize in jail you could get your ass beat to death. And that's what happened.
Yep.
At least that's how I heard the story. Maybe it was different. But that's how I heard the story, that he got beat to death in jail.
Bee's Nest said, didn't Divine eat a real dog turd on that one movie? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Which, man, that's going pretty far for your art there.
He must have been fucked up.
John Waters is like, well, we could do it fake. We could just make it like a melted Tootsie Roll or something. And Divine's like, no, I'm really gonna do that shit. Gross. I don't even know if there's any amount of money that you could pay me to like eat poop.
They were crazy back then.
Well, like I said, I'm sure fucking drugs help.
Yeah.
Because then you're just kind of like, hey, let's make all the stupid decisions. I mean, I've been like apocalyptically drunk, but I don't think I've ever been drunk enough to think that eating poop was a good idea. Yeah. So that's one thing I have going for me.
Some of those girls from that scene did weird shit. They were fucking making clandestinely, also making porn. Some of it got out, some of it didn't.
Which, like I said,
I heard a rumor that Wendy O. Williams was doing doggy porn, blowing dogs and shit. Did at least one film like that.
Huh.
In her fucking punk rock outfit and everything. This was before she was famous. I don't know if it's true.
Well, I will say that, the kind of like bestiality porn is like way bigger than people.
Yeah, she did that evidently.
Than people realize, maybe. You know.
Well, in some countries,
don't ask me how I know.
In some countries, it's legal. In Japan, that's like not even a thing. That's not even a big deal.
Yeah, I don't know. Because, like I said, animal can't really consent to that shit. It's like, what are you even doing back there? Knock it off. I mean, I don't know. Like, to some extent, maybe the animal doesn't care, but it's just kind of like...
Well, man, I'll tell you what.
I don't know. That just seems like a real slippery slope right there.
In the 70s, the BDSM underground scene was supposedly fucking really hardcore, and especially up in Europe. And they used to have a band. I really like this band. It's a French band called Diform. And they had some really good goth industrial music. And some of that shit had bestiality undertones to it. You know, and the videos were quite kind of strange, too. But, fucking songs like Animal Fever and shit like that, you know what I mean? And it's just fucking, that's what they're talking about.
Some people like low-key bestiality.
Yeah.
Enthusiasts.
Right.
Well, I mean, at least in the written erotica thing, a lot of people are into, not necessarily straight bestiality, but the kind of the thing where, like werewolves or half man, half animal. Yeah. That's really, really big. I think that might be, like... either the biggest or the second biggest subgenre of erotica, at least written erotica. I don't know about like video porn or anything like that, but
old Diform was fucking good from the 80s and 90s. Actually, it was 90s. That's what it was. All throughout the 90s, I liked it. They had one album that was called fucking La Merde de Bos. I don't remember. It's all the French titles mostly.
All that French.
Yeah, it's French stuff. It's most of the lyrics. Well, part of the lyrics are in French, part of them are in English. It's got a real good looking female vocalist, and then some dude, and she's usually like nude or half nude, and there's fucking doing real good videos, tasteful kind of, Venus and Furs type shit, the little fucking black bobs and the fucking PVC corsets, and they're mixing classical music and opera with industrial, and it's good. I liked it. Good. But they just it had that looked like those old Italian bondage cartoon or illustrated novels. You know what I'm talking about? Everything was like that motif.
Yeah.
Look good.
Midwest Outlaw 420 says Marilyn Manson is the king of the edgelords. Yeah, I agree. Like I said, it's very, very try-hard. And we've talked about this before, but when Marilyn Manson came out, all like the real goth people were like, "Oh, here we go."
You look at that now, and there wasn't much to it.
Yeah, I know.
It was just the mundanes. I'm calling them the mundanes. Normies would freak out over that shit, but it was that was like lightweight compared to like.
Well, I mean, it had been done.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That's all it was. And like I said, I'm not shitting on, it's like, obviously everything's been done, but it's just kind of like everybody like flipped out about it. And I'm like, yeah, that's okay. Yeah,
Diform had been doing stuff like that better and even classier than that for years. There was nothing, and the music was better, a lot better. There just wasn't anything.
That's what I mean. There wasn't anything like really original or shocking.
Although I liked his covers.
I did too, I'll admit that.
Yeah.
I'll admit that. I liked a couple of his songs, but I never bought any of his albums or anything. Gramthars says, question for both of you is, who are your favorite faceless people in your podcast chat room and why? We can't answer that because then everybody will be like, I don't want to play favorites.
Yeah.
If you're here, here right now, we love you. Okay, that's like such a diplomatic answer. I'm not gonna like pick out anybody in particular because then it would be like, what about me? And all this stuff. I don't want to do that. Yeah, Camp Guy's talking about that show Fear Factor. I could never watch that because it's like I don't mind watching people do like jackass type shit, but I have a real hard time watching people eat gross stuff. Like this one, I used to work in the night shift, and like when we were done with work, like sometimes we'd all just like hang out and like watch videos or movies or whatever. And one of us, my friend, he picked Fear Factor, and we were watching Fear Factor, and I remember on this episode, somebody had to drink a milkshake that had a big ass banana slug in it. And I saw about like no, it was in there, like they had it, and I was like watching that, and I just like started gagging, and I couldn't stop, and I was just kind of like, yep, gotta leave the room. I can't watch people eat bugs or slugs.
That was Fear Factor.
Yeah, or snot or any or poop or anything like that. Anything like that, I'm like, nope, I'm out.
Joe Rogan, man, he was a fucking mastermind for that shit. He was great.
That's disgusting.
Man, they fucking making people eat bull testicles.
See, that's what I mean. I can't.
Yeah.
Like, I would rather, if they gave me a choice, they're like, look, you can either eat, like, a handful of cockroaches, or we're gonna, like, I don't know, like, pull out one of your teeth. I'll be like, yeah, pull one of my teeth out. Yeah. I am totally not eating. No way. No way.
Yeah, I think one of them was to drink bull semen, too, wasn't it?
Yeah, I think I saw that one. Yeah. And it's like, even thinking about it makes me want to hurl.
And it was like a bunch of it. And you got a certain amount of money if you could finish it. Or, you know.
See, that's what I mean. If I was on that show, I'd be like, you know what? Just hurt me.
Yeah.
I would rather have you like break one of my fingers than have to eat anything gross like that. That is actually legitimate.
Yeah. I remember there was one where they were up at a damn what do you call it? Roulette table. And they had some dudes and a couple of cute girls and shit up there, and they were giving them $500 each for every one of these damn cave spiders they would eat.
See, that's not enough money. Sorry.
And she's fucking picking up that spider going, ee, and it bit her on her fucking lip and shit. And he goes, it already bit you, might as well eat it. You know, that kind of shit. And fucking Joe Rogan, back in the day, that was like the kind of dude to talk your girlfriend into doing porn or something. He would sit there and just
couldn't talk me into shit. Sorry.
He'd just sit there and he'd just talk these women into psyching them up and talking them. It already bit you. You might as well eat it. You know, just shit like that. And they would do it. And you see $500. See, they can eat another. You ate one. You can eat another one. And he'd fucking talk those girls.
And the thing about it too is that another thing that bothers me.
I want to see that series again.
One, it's gross. Yeah. Okay. Two, that spider isn't hurting anybody. I like spiders. I like slugs. I'm like, why would I want to? I'm not gonna. Yeah, I don't want to hurt him.
And they were fucking funny looking. They were real wide with big long legs.
Why would I want to hurt him? He didn't do anything to me.
Making money.
I'm sorry, that's not enough money.
They're in there to make money. They know what Fear Factor was.
Like I said, I would rather have them like break my pinky.
Nah. Then they knew what Fear Factor was. Then they put them in those damn coffins and pour fucking spiders on them or pour
I don't mind that.
Yeah, you would.
That does not bother me at all.
And then
I'm not claustrophobic, and I'm not afraid of snakes.
You'd hear
or spiders.
You'd hear them say shit like they'd pour fucking huge vats of fucking roaches on them, and they would be going, I can smell them. Fucking imagine that.
Like not roaches, okay? That's where I draw the line. But like I said, I don't mind being in a coffin. I'm not claustrophobic. I don't want to be buried alive, okay? Yeah. But I'll lay in a coffin and have it closed. That doesn't bother me. You can have rats run over me. I don't care about that. You can have snakes run over me. I don't care about that. You can have spiders run over me. I don't care about that. No roaches, though. I don't really like roaches. But other than that, I would way rather do that than have to eat something gross.
Yeah.
That is just like the last... I would do almost anything on Fear Factor before I would do that. Like, eat something really nasty like that. And I know that's dumb. I know it's like a fucked up thing, but that's just my thing. I don't mind having like snakes crawling all over me. That does not bother me at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Go to the restroom.
So, but I'm not eating it. I'm not eating a slug. I'm not eating spiders. I'm not doing it. I'm not drinking a big thing of bull semen. Like I said, even thinking about it makes me want to fucking throw up. Yeah, David June says, would you rather be in a Saw type situation or be on Fear Factor? Well, it would depend on what the Saw situation was. If it was a Saw situation where, hey, you have a thing on your face and you just have to, like, cut somebody's belly open to get a key, I'd probably rather do that. I know, that's terrible. I'm like, that's not that big a deal. It's a big deal, but it's not that big a deal. I'm still not eating a roach, sorry. Like I said, I'd pretty much rather do anything than that. It's just, ugh. Like I said, just thinking about that show with the banana slug, I'm just kind of like, oh, it's just like making me feel so nauseated. It's just so gross. And I don't know why. I don't know why the thought of like eating something gross is like so much worse for me than anything else. I remember a few years back, because, you know, we have, Universal Studios, and they do Halloween Horror Nights. And I don't know if they do this anymore, but they used to have a couple houses where they're like, oh, well, we need somebody that will, you know, lay in a coffin and have rats crawl all over them and shit like that. And I used to think I was like, you know what, I don't know, that just seems like it wouldn't bother me. Rats don't bother me. I'm just not bothered. So I don't know. I know other people would be bothered, and I'm not judging. I'm just saying that I'm not bothered by it. Bee's Nest says, my grandpa likes pig brains with scrambled eggs. Yeah, my grandma used to eat that too. And she was not from Lebanon. She was actually from Tennessee. Gramthars Hammer said, I once ate a goat brain pita at an Arabic restaurant in Dearborn, Michigan. It was rough.
Doesn't sound good.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said,
brain is just fat.
Yeah, my grandmother used to had cans of calves brains, and you scramble them with eggs, right? Which, you know, I'm sure if you scramble it with eggs, it doesn't look like brains anymore, but it's like still,
why would you eat that?
Why would you eat that? Yeah. We have real food nowadays. Yeah. You really don't have to eat that anymore.
The only internal organ I ever liked was that damn goose liver pate. Tasted pretty good.
I'm not even really a big fan of that, to be honest with you.
I love chicken hearts. But that's about it. Every now and then,
he's into chicken.
Every now and then, I can eat some fried liver if it's done right. But most of the time, it's not done right. But sometimes
liver is a very, very strong.
You have to know how to cook
flavor.
Yeah.
I mean, you've made like gravy like Thanksgiving time that had liver in it.
Yeah.
But you usually like keep it on the DL because it'll really like overpower everything else if you're not careful.
You just use just a little bit.
Yeah. Dermot said if those insects could speak, they would all plead for their lives. That's what I mean. It's kind of like, I don't know why. I don't know. Like I said, I like spiders. I like slugs. I can't, the thought of just like killing it just for a stupid like game show like really bothers me. So
insects are robots. They don't.
I know, but it still bothers me. Like much less I'm grossed out by the fact of eating it, but I'm just like, why?
All the time.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean anything to me either. Okay, I'm just kind of like, why would I kill it? Why would I want to kill it? That just seems dumb.
Can't stand them.
It depends on what it is. Like I said, I don't like cockroaches. Yeah. Cockroaches can fuck off. But other than that, I'm not really bothered by any other. And like houseflies can fuck off. But other than that,
I don't like spiders.
And mosquitoes can fuck off.
I'm not into fucking scorpions. Although I wouldn't kill scorpions. Just throw them out. Throw them out of the house or throw them out of the tent or whatever.
Yeah, I'm not. And like I said, I'm not. And honestly, I actually quite like spiders because spiders will eat other bugs that I don't like.
No, I don't like them.
So, you know.
No, they'll come and fuck with you. They'll get in your house, get in your shit.
We don't have that many spiders around here. Well, not that many that get in the house. Every now and then they do.
Okay.
Like I said, only thing I don't really like cockroaches. They can fuck off. Bee's Nest says tripe is big here, aka menudo. Yeah, that's kind of a big thing. I don't know. Bee's Nest also said, I randomly met an old man here at a gas station and sat down at my table and started talking to me how he would drink a cup of his own piss daily.
Damn.
We were talking about that the other day because wasn't there a woman on, was it My Strange Addiction? Remember that show, My Strange Addiction?
Drinking her own piss,
and she kept drinking her own piss.
Yeah, that was some sexual. There was something.
Yeah, probably. Because why on earth would you do that? I think we were thinking about that the other day because I was thinking about that couple that were super into coffee enemas.
Yeah.
And, I remember why. Because we were watching Rick Serra, who is on Dan Bell's channel all the time, like usually on Another Dirty Room. He has his own YouTube channel, and he does a live stream. He lives in Florida, right?
Yeah.
He just like sits in his backyard and like smokes a bowl and just talks about bullshit. And he was doing a thing on the last live stream where he had bought a whole bunch of like those little enema bottles, and
that's funny.
What was he doing exactly? He was like giving people...
He was giving people spiritual flushes, spiritual cleansings. That's what he called it. Spiritual cleansing.
With enema bottles.
Yeah.
So, for a second... and
he
I
made
think,
it look like he was going to stick that shit up in his ass.
Yeah, and I think that he did that on purpose. Because I'm like, is he really going to stick that up his butt right now?
Goes, okay, all you got to do is just put your name in the comment section and I'll give you a spiritual cleansing. and he goes, okay, you know... William Brown. Psh, he sprays. You're cleansed. Fucking, you know. Tammy Wynette. Psh, you're cleansed. And I was going, oh, that's how he's doing it.
You just gave a spiritual enema to Tammy Wynette. I'm pretty sure she's dead, though.
It's a good idea. I'm just coming up with names.
I just couldn't, and it made me think of like the coffee enema people from My Strange Addiction. Although I have to say, I think 99% of the people on My Strange Addiction are faking.
I don't know. I don't think
because I kind of feel like, I didn't say all of them were. Yeah. I think it's kind of a situation like, you know, back in the 80s and 90s when they had all those fucking talk shows, Jenny Jones and like fucking Geraldo and Ricky and all that. And who was that other fucking dude? I can't remember what his name was. But I kind of feel like Maury Povich, that's who I was trying to think of. Most of those people on there were actors.
Yeah.
They basically put out a call, hey, we need somebody that will say that they have sex with their son or daughter and, you know, go out and pimp them out or whatever. It's like whatever the topic was, it's like the more shocking the better.
That's why the cops weren't waiting there.
That's what I mean. Yeah. Because it's like if those people were doing half the shit they said on that show, they would so be under arrest. Yeah. I mean, and you could like catch them really easily because you knew when the taping was. So it's like obviously they weren't really doing most of that shit.
Graham, the 2 Girls 1 Cup video was faked. That came out later.
Mm-hmm.
That was a Japanese thing. They put something like pudding or something up in some girl's booty, and she squeezed it out. And then they ate it, but it wasn't.
I'm still not eating pudding out of anyone's butt. Sorry.
They do shit like that in porn all the time.
I know they do, but it's still gross.
So, that's what that was. It was not scat. It was fake scat.
Like I said, still gross though.
Yeah.
Because you're still putting you're still putting it in your butt and then like shooting it back out, even though it didn't originally come from your butt.
Right.
It was adulterated into your butt.
Yeah.
But
if you look at some girl's booty, anyway, and she's all cleaned it out and everything, then they put it in there, and it's only in there for a few seconds. Because in porn,
and then I mean, they are pretty.
They're doing everything with.
I mean, they clean all that
booty
shit out.
fingers and shit. You know, licking booty fingers and shit. They're fucking crazy.
Licking booty fingers.
Licking booty fingers. That's why they gotta be. They gotta pass all them damn tests. Boy, it's get rid of that E. coli warning. They're all fucking enemaed up and fucking all kinds of shit. Fucking they put.
I would hope so.
Yeah, they put all kinds of stuff in there.
Man, that's
fucking kill bacteria and stuff.
They're
professionals.
So. Yeah, it's like
they know what they're doing.
They have health regulations. Well, unless it's like some fucking cheap jack kind of fucking porn.
Yeah,
but
I don't think those exist much anymore. Well, there's homemade stuff, but they probably know what's up too.
But I was kind of thinking to myself, the more I was thinking about that cup, I don't know why I'm so fascinated by this couple that gave
licking booty fingers. That's going to be the next show.
That's what I'm going to call this now. I'm going to call it the licking booty fingers edition because that probably won't get me demonetized, right?
Yeah,
those individually aren't bad words.
Yeah.
But I can spell it different. But I don't know why I'm so fascinated by these coffee enema people, but I think the reason I was fascinated by them was because one of the things that they said was that one of them started out doing it, and then the other one was kind of like, yeah, that's bullshit. But then she was like, no, I'm going to give you one. And he's like, oh my God, that's the best thing ever. Now my ass is caffeinated.
Yeah.
So, caffeinated ass. No, that's what I'm going to call it, the caffeinated ass edition. And so then they decided they were going to give themselves coffee enemas. So they're like doing it like a whole bunch of times a day. Yeah. And I'm like, are you telling me that you're spending like literally essentially a whole entire work day's worth of time
sitting around with coffee up in your booty?
Coffee up in your butt. Like you have to basically like lay around in your bathroom. Like, do you guys, And they showed them like laying in the bathroom like sideways
yeah,
and then they're like reading stuff on the tablet. I'm like, do you guys get anything done? Or you just like kind of fucking lay? How can you do that? Don't you get bored?
It's ridiculous. Okay.
Nobody wants coffee in their butt that bad. Come on.
Gramthars asking me about Peter North. Was Peter all that shit faked from Peter North? Okay. For those of you who don't know who he's talking about, there was a legendary male porn star. I guess it was in the 90s. Who he was. Dicking down the best looking women in porn and fucking he was like a muscle man type guy and he was legendary for I'm trying to say it politely, shooting the biggest ass loads you've ever fucking seen. Okay.
That was kind of polite.
That motherfucker would just be like shooting loads for like fucking a whole fucking 30 seconds. Okay, I was fucking watching that, as a kid I was like, that looks awful fucking clear. Okay, and not knowing anything about fucking being on gear. If you're not using stuff like HCG or Clomid, if you're on any anabolic steroids, sperm production will get shut down. In general, it'll also fucking stop the other fluids. Somehow he was able to keep seminal fluids going, but there wasn't any sperm. All right, so it was just clear. Now maybe he was faking it. It might have been urine. See, because it would not be very impressive in porn for a dude to shoot blanks. There's nothing because there's no money shot. So somehow he had to fake that. And I think it might have been urine, or just somehow he was able to take some kind of drug that didn't produce sperm, but it did produce some kind of seminal fluid. It was clear. There's lots of it.
I don't think I've heard that guy's name, but I don't know if I've ever seen anything.
He's a good-looking muscle man type guy. Everybody liked him in porn. The girls all liked him. He was a nice guy. But I would say he was probably like on Anavar and Primobolan, probably based on his build. And that was in a time when they didn't. When guys that were getting jacked like that would allow themselves to become what do you call it? Not sterilized, but I guess like chemically castrated. You could rock up, but you could reach orgasm, but nothing would come out.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. So somehow he had to fake that. So it wasn't what it appeared to be.
Midwest Outlaw 420 says, y'all talk about porn while the comments are on about gore vids.
Yeah, fuck them. Fuck them dudes.
Yeah, well, I've seen a couple of those too, but I don't know. That's not really... I don't know. I'm kind of fascinated by porn as a concept. I'm fascinated by what goes on porn sets. And like I said, I like all the kind of like tricks, the tips and tricks.
Yeah.
How do we like achieve this effect and that effect? Because it's a movie, so they're gonna like do fake shit when they can do it. I'm sure, but that's just kind of like I don't know. It's like interesting.
A couple really good movies you want to see. Mope. Mope was a really good one.
Yeah, we did a review of that one. It's really good.
And it's a true story.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's that other one. That one was pretty legendary.
Boogie Nights.
Yeah, Boogie Nights.
Mope was kind of like
the dark side of that shit. Yeah.
Well, Boogie Nights got pretty dark too.
Yeah,
gotta imagine, because like I said, that was fictionalized, but it was kind of based on John Holmes a little bit.
Yeah.
Mope was actually based on an actual case, like two guys that were actually mopes in the sense that they basically just like cleaned up porn sets, right?
No, they were mopes were male, kind of like stand-ins in a way.
Yeah.
They were kind of like the male version of a fluffer. If you needed a dude that just did to just jump in the middle of a gangbang
and like just like jerk off on some girl or something.
Yeah, they were kind of like
when they're doing like a whole like circle jerk.
Yeah,
thing.
they were kind of like extras, like no-name extras. They were much. They didn't get paid much money. And I'm giving her little treats.
Yeah, she's scratching on the box.
They didn't get paid much money, and these two dudes wanted to be superstars of porn. Male superstars of porn. Which is, in that industry, was not something that would happen. Because you really couldn't build... These guys would not build you could not build a loyal male fan base that would buy videos over and over again based on dudes, you know. Very rarely. Now, some dude who's directing, maybe. Some guys had their own lines. One of them was that dude that went to prison. He had his own line of videos. What was that fucker's name? They got him for obscenity. He did 5 years for that shit. But what he was doing, fucking, they do it regularly now. What was that guy's name? Max Hardcore. His name was Max Stringer or Staniger. I don't remember what his. But the name of his video series was Max Hardcore. Was the name. I remember that. Yeah. And yeah, you can't get any of his stuff anymore because he just got banned from everything, and all his shit got taken off the internet.
You're banned from Earth.
Banned. Yeah, which is fucking crazy because if you were to see it alongside of everything else that they're doing today, it's like nothing. It's the same. Well,
I kind of feel like, I mean, nowadays they can kind of get away with anything. Yeah. There's always like fucking loopholes and stuff.
Well, the jury decided it was obscenity.
I don't know, man. Well, you know, there was that whole shit about, well, remember all the kind of crap that fucking Larry Flint went through back in the old days?
Yeah.
He got, like, brought to court and all that shit. And that was just, like, fucking Hustler magazine. That wasn't even shit that was moving around. That was, like, fucking just still-ass pictures. Mm-hmm. Which is crazy. Somebody asked about what about a Serbian film. That's, I saw that, and it was just kind of like... I think I was expecting it to be... It's bad, but I was expecting it to be way worse than it was.
What is that?
It's a fictionalized movie. It's about... It's kind of about, like, fucking... a snuff film type of situation.
Yeah,
like a porn snuff film type of thing. Yeah.
I've heard, but I don't...
It's fucked up, but it wasn't as fucked up as I was expecting.
Right.
Maybe that means I'm jaded. I'm not really sure.
You probably just saw the mechanisms.
Mike says, gotta watch House That Jack Built. That was a really good movie, actually. I did a review of that a little while back. Bee's Nest says, watch this behind the scenes making a porn. This one dude said, come on, let's fuck this bitch. And the girl was like, hey, don't talk to me that way. Yeah. I kind of hope most sets are like, I'm like, man, fuck off. All right, so I'm going to fucking pet you if you keep talking like that. What's the name of that movie? Yeah, Mope. M-O-P-E is the name of that movie.
Real good movie.
We just kind of came across it at random.
Just at random. I wanted to own it and put it on Blu-ray.
It's good. It was like way better than I was expecting. Yeah. It was way better than I was expecting.
And it's this and these are two real dudes. It's based on the real guys and everything. This black dude and a Korean guy or a Chinese guy? Chinese-American guy.
Ooh, I can't remember.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an Asian guy.
Yeah, and there was nothing physically impressive about these guys at all. They're evidently they were really mediocre, and they're trying to make their own porn brand and get out of this really shitty studio that they worked for. It was like bottom of the barrel. And they were kind of fucked up. The black dude had some kind of schizophrenia or mental problem that over time started to dominate.
It's kind of a sad story,
yeah,
but it's also kind of like a comedy, but I think it like threads that needle pretty well.
It was a sad story about these two dudes who were really trying to be famous in the porn industry, but there was mental illness involved and a lot of failure involved and a lot of fucking fantasy. Like, these guys had no chances of ever being stars, but they were hoping, they were trying, and it didn't end well.
And like I said, you can't really fault them for that. It's like... But it was just kind of sad because they had a completely unrealistic idea.
And expectations
of what they could actually accomplish. They were really into porn, and they just thought that they could be
superstars.
Yeah,
they thought that they saw it as kind of like a high art form and a form of entertainment.
It can be.
But they didn't have the talent to deliver on this.
No. Good. And like I said, that's what was sad about it. So in a way, it's like it's funny. It's a hilarious movie. It's like a dark comedy.
Yeah, and it's true, and it goes.
And it's a true story. But I don't know. But you still feel like a lot of sympathy for them.
Yeah, they were trying.
Yeah. Yeah, Camp Guy says the porn industry now is totally saturated. No way to differentiate your service. I can't even think of a single thing that you could do that would make you stand out from, because everything's been done. Yeah. A million times over. Everything's been thought of.
The money's not in porn anymore. The money's actually in those Instagram girls.
Yeah.
And you know those Instagram fitness girls and shit? They don't. There's not even any nudity in it. They just post really cool pictures and try to sell down protein powder and creatine powder, and then they coach girls or guys online, and some of these people, of course, I guess they're infatuated with these Instagram girls, so they'll spend thousands, hundreds of dollars a month on their services and their coaching. And if she has 20 guys, that's a lot.
Yeah.
So, and I don't know if they're all guys. Probably some of them are girls. Although I've heard, and it's probably true, that in the fitness scene, male coaches get mostly female students. Okay. And it's because the average woman doesn't want to be coached by a female. Which that checked out in the horse industry too. Female trainers, they could be as good, really, really good female trainers, don't get very many students. Mediocre male trainers, they'll get a shit ton of students, make a whole lot of money, and the students don't even really progress. But that's not why those girls are there. They're just there to ride a horse around and look cool and be told how cool, how good they look on the horse. They're not really there to learn high level skills. It's just the ego stroking. So,
well, we talked about that before. I said most of those girls, particularly in the horse industry, they're not gonna they don't care about competing or anything like that.
Well, they'll go to a show, but
but it's just like a hobby. It's not like I'm not gonna make a profession out of it.
Right? They're not gonna go fucking.
It's just kind of like every kid that goes and does karate or gymnastics doesn't want to go to the damn Olympics. Right. You know what I mean? It's just a hobby and it's fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And for some reason, they want a male trainer. And if he's cute, it's even better. Then he'll get a shit ton of them.
Because, I used to do, ballet and gymnastics and everything, but I didn't really want to do it for, professionally ever.
Yeah. It's just like the damn tiger scene. These dudes with tigers. Dude's got tigers, and he's got a whole bunch of fucking girlfriends. He's dressing them up all in costumes. Remember that fucking tiger cult? Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's that same thing. The horse situations are kind of like that, too.
Yeah, because we've mentioned, if you guys didn't hear it on one, but one of the not Tiger King, not that guy, and not the guy that was not that other sleazy dude that was on the documentary, but another guy that has a bunch of big cats like that lives right up the street from us. He has a big huge compound,
it's
with big huge cement walls and stuff.
And he's got all kinds of shit in there. He's got tigers, lions. I think he's got some giraffes. I think he's got some zebras in there. I've heard that he has some gorillas, maybe. But a lot of African animals in there. But he's a legal dealer and all that stuff.
Yeah, it's like exotic animals. So if we ever have a really bad hurricane and that wall blows down, then we're going to have all kind of fucking animals in our yard.
It's like a zoo.
So that might be exciting. So one time we have a big hurricane and then you look out the window, there's a big fucking giraffe outside your window.
Yeah.
That'd be fucking hilarious. But yeah, it's only that's not even a mile up the road. It's right there.
Yeah, it's right there.
Yeah.
It's about 2 miles.
Yeah, 2 miles. Okay, yeah. That's not that far.
It's on the way to the biker bar.
On the way to the biker bar.
Yeah.
I still haven't gone to the biker bar.
I know.
What'd you do at the biker bar yesterday?
Sat up at the bar. Let one dude ride my bike.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say something else.
No, that would do.
Let one dude ride my
they fucking
bike.
That's how these women want to fantasize. No, they fucking pulled up. Fucking one of them was on a Bandit 1200, the other one was on a Harley, and they're fucking looking at my fucking Buell. I'm telling you, man, they're not fast. They're quick off the bottom, and because they have that Harley fucking motor in there, and they didn't make that many of them. Fucking, it's kind of a showstopper. I'll be in a fucking parking lot full of fucking badass looking Harleys. They're looking at my shit. Oh, what the fuck is that? It's belt drive. You know why? So.
Well, you don't see them as often.
You don't see them. So.
I mean, you see Harleys all the time.
You see them looking at them. You know what I mean? They'll come in and they go, "Is that your bike?" You know, they come up to me at the bar. That's your Buell out there. And they start talking. And they want to know how fast it is. Can you keep the front wheel down? And blah, blah. I said, "Come on, man." And they'll follow you right out and fucking put them on it.
Okay.
The key. No, it's not. No, one guy's no. I don't want it to come up underneath me. I said, "Dude, if you could ride that, you will be able to ride this. Don't worry about it." And he goes, no, get off there. And he goes, I'll go. The guy on the Bandit, he took off with it. He comes back, oh yeah, this thing's fun. But yeah.
What'd they put on the jukebox yesterday?
Oh, what'd they have on there? Oh shit.
Can you remember?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
You were there a while.
They had one song that was fucking totally ridiculous. I had no idea who it was. It was like a joke song. They played that. They played fucking. Freebird's gonna be played like fucking 5 times.
Of course.
Every fucking night.
Really? God, how long? How old is that song now?
A million years old. I think it's 73, right?
Was it?
Freebird. They can play that.
Okay, so it's
They're
almost
gonna
50
play
years old.
country music that I don't recognize. Bob Seger. They had that shit.
Of course. Oh. We know how Tom
Bob
feels
Seger,
about.
I hate Bob Seger.
Yeah, Tom has a very contentious relationship with
I'm on
Bob
the
Seger.
road again. Here I am. What's that? Fuck the stage. Isn't that I don't remember the lyrics.
I haven't heard that song in a long time.
They played that shit. Fuck, man. That shit brings me down. Depresses the fuck out of me.
It is depressing, yeah.
And then up fucking Billy Idol. They'll play Billy Idol.
Well, that's acceptable.
They'll play White Red Wedding, and they'll play Rebel Yell. And they'll play Flesh for Fantasy. They'll put that on.
Well, everybody likes that one because that has that video with all his like.
Well, he rides.
Yeah.
He rides, so they'll put.
So that's allowed.
Yeah, he's loud. AC/DC. They played.
Okay, that's also.
Yeah, Hell's Bells. They played Hell's Bells.
Acceptable.
And they played Have a Drink on Me. That's another one. And then they.
DJ Maniac says that song's called Turn the Page.
Turn the page.
He says it's my karaoke song, but I do the Metallica version.
Man. When that song comes on, I go like, fuck, I'm getting out of here. I gotta go fucking take a piss.
Why do you guys hate me?
I fucking hate that song.
Oh my god.
It's just the worst song fucking ever. You know what I mean?
I don't know if I'd go that far. To me, I've heard it so many times because, like I said, everywhere I worked.
I'd rather hear fucking Jimmy Buffett.
No,
I'd rather hear
not.
fucking.
Well, because like I said, everywhere I've worked, pretty much, most of the time I lived in Daytona, and the only decent station that everybody could agree upon was the Hog, which is the classic rock station, because at least those songs. You've heard them a zillion times, but at least you've heard them so many times you can like tune them out if they're annoying.
Yeah.
Because nobody wants to listen to country, and that was pretty much the only other station there was.
Yeah.
So I've heard them so many times that they don't even like really register as music anymore. It's just kind of like part of like the background noise.
Yeah.
So they don't really like offend me all that much.
They'll play some shit that'll surprise me every now and then. They'll play something like Slipknot. That'll come out.
Yeah, see, that's the thing. Like, the classic rock station now has shit from, like, the 90s and whatnot, because that's old now.
Yeah, well, you know, they're guys...
Yeah, it's old.
They're guys in their 50s, and they'll put Slipknot on there. Fucking, you know... And
which is hilarious.
Bikers in their 50s will fucking jam into that. Yeah.
Because, it's kind of like...
And then...
it's funny to think about now. It's like Nirvana, but that's like old people music. Yeah, that came out when I was, like, just out of high school.
And then the real old ones get pissed when that comes on.
Oh, this new shit.
And here's the thing: that jukebox, you can talk to it through an app on your phone. Yeah. So you can pay to move your song up higher in the fucking playlist. And
so is everybody being like a bitch about it?
Like, they see that shit happens, they get a notification.
Oh no!
They get a notification that he paid.
I'm putting Skinnerd up above your shit.
Yeah, and then you have a way to fucking counter bid for another fucking 25 cents. You can move yours back up into the front line. So they start fucking with each other. You go, bitch, you ain't making me pay $5 to play that song next. Ain't that $5 for that damn song. You know, that's what they're doing.
Oh my god, that's so
fighting
funny.
over who's gonna fucking play
and the sad thing about it is they probably have the 8-track at home. Yeah. Oh, Jenny just threw some shade. No, I'm just saying. Well, and that's the thing. This is the thing that always used to like freak me out. Whenever wherever I used to work, and they always played, the classic rock station, and there was always people that called in to request, like, hey, play Freebird. I'm like, dude, do you not have the record at home? Just listen to it whenever you want. Yeah. Go on YouTube and listen to it. It's free. Who the fuck calls into like a fucking radio station nowadays?
And he want to play Freebird.
And requesting Freebird. Yeah. I kind of feel like if you're going to go to all the trouble to call a radio station and request a song, at least request something they don't play. They're not going to play like that hour again anyway. You know what I mean? Yeah. They're going to play Freebird eventually. They play it like twice an hour. Just wait, just sit tight, and they're going to play it. You don't got to call. Seriously. Yeah. Or, like I said, just go to YouTube like a normal person and listen to it any goddamn time you want to. I don't think what else is. Then,
We gotta go down there like on a Sunday afternoon.
Well, maybe we can go this Sunday.
All right.
Tomorrow, I want to go see Antlers.
Okay, we'll go down on a Sunday.
But
afternoon.
Sunday we can go.
I'll go and you know, you can either ride on the back. I'll put the passenger pegs on,
or I have to go in my car. He's embarrassed to be seen with me.
I would never pull up to that. It's called the Oasis. I would never go to the Oasis
Midnight at the Oasis.
in a cage because it's going to be fucking two wheels, man.
Is everybody going to get on my case because because I just came in a car?
No, half the people.
And you didn't come I didn't come on the back of your.
No,
I'm not doing the old lady shit. I'm not. doing that.
Well, you could only ride up there really on the tail if we were on a cruiser. You're not really supposed to do that on a fucking on a little.
I've ridden on the back of your mule before, and it's fun, but it's also terrifying.
Yeah.
You know, so
my suspension really isn't set for it.
It's not. Yeah. It's not ideal.
It's got a little short tail. It's only.
And the whole time I'm like, woo, oh shit, I'm gonna fall off and like bust my head open.
She's sitting on a fucking little tail that's maybe about.
It's
8
like
inches,
that, yeah.
And
my ass is like too big for that situation.
Just a little bit short micro tail. Everything's all tucked up.
Too big for that situation.
So it's just, but it's Sunday afternoon. You know, everybody's riding, and they got their mamas with them or their old ladies and all that shit. Fucking, they're dressed up. Fucking, it's a lot of weird, different kind of biker outfits. Like there was some of them there in their 70s type shit with the bell bottoms and fucking bikini tops with fucking vests over it, you know, that kind of shit.
Wow, that's old school.
They were doing that, and dude had fucking long hair. They just have their own, everybody kind of has their own little thing going on depending on who they are. If they're wearing colors, they gotta fucking leave the colors outside. So because there are gangs that show up, but they fold their shit up, put it on a seat.
Well, see, that's that happens in Daytona too. Yeah. All of the biker bars say, well, except for like the really scuzzy ones. Yeah. Have the signs out front that say
no so they hang them up on the bikes, but they're not fighting each other.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then I mean, everybody they all know each other.
Just have a beer, chill out.
Yeah. And then when there's a lot of women in there, the bartenders act up a lot. They act up a lot. That's when they start fucking popping titties out and fucking, you know, and then they get into titty competitions and shit. You know, they're gonna challenge you.
So I'm gonna have to get in a titty fight?
You might have to get in a titty fight. They're gonna drop them, baby, drop them. You know,
I'm gonna have to start slapping people.
Yeah, because they start challenging one another.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
I think I'm gonna win. Well, I don't know. I haven't been down there. But I still think I'm gonna win.
The bartenders are all late 40s,
well, so am I.
Yeah. They're all our age.
So am I.
They're all late 40s. So they're not youngsters, and they're biker friendly or they're biker mamas.
Tom's gonna he's gonna get really drunk and then he's gonna cop a bunch of money trying to get me to chest bump some other chick with it. Yeah, I can see it. I'd see how it's gonna go.
I didn't get that shit on video.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
This is what he always kind of hopes will happen.
I've seen that shit happen live.
That's true.
Yeah, I've seen that shit happen.
I've been pretty drunk too when that happened.
Yeah, I've seen that shit happen. They had a Puerto Rican biker girl in there, fucking, she was about 55, fucking twerking and shit. And her fucking husband was next to her, and it was fucking funny. You just gotta be there to understand it. And they're playing that fucking ridiculous music. I call it ridiculous music because half that shit is fucking ridiculous. It is ridiculous, yeah. It's just like something out of the movies. I want to get a video. We'll show it on the show.
Well, you know, like I said, it's not. I don't know. It's ridiculous to us because it's even nowadays, I'm old. I consider myself an old person, but even now, that's shit my dad was listening to. Yeah. So that's that's old even for me.
The Oasis is from the 1950s.
Yeah.
That's when that place was built, and it was a gas station originally. And
it's very small.
Yeah, and it was turned into. No, it's
it looks small.
It looks small from the front, but there's actually more of it than you think. And the parking lot goes all the way around. You can't get in there on the weekend.
I imagine.
You just can't get in.
Well, there's not a lot around here like that.
Fucking cameras everywhere. It's got more cameras than the inside of a bank.
Shit, man.
Yeah, so shit goes down in there on the weekends.
Oh, I'm sure.
They say there's fights going on in there every weekend, so I don't think I'll be going over there.
I think they need Patrick Swayze to go in there and sort that shit out.
They're sorting it out. They're sorting it out between all of them. They're sorting it out on their own. Street justice down there.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right, talk some more about that, because I have to go to the bathroom.
All right.
Also, my drink's empty. But don't get a drink at the same time I'm in the bathroom, because then nobody will be here, and that would be really weird.
I don't care.
You don't care?
They can just sit there and just look. I'll put the damn music on. Put that damn music on. Let's see what DJ Maniac say. It said DJ said all AC/DC songs sound exactly the same. They do, but they also all sound pretty good. There's something just, I don't know, AC/DC is just kind of like, it's generic. It's just generic Australian fucking power metal, I guess. You know? I mean, I'm not sure it's metal. I guess it's metal. It's really, really hard rock. It's got guitar solos, so I guess it's metal. But yeah, it does kind of sound like a formula. Still good, though. It's just kind of drinking music. Everything is about drinking or having sex. Yeah, drinking and fucking. That's what it's about. There's not much. There's not much to AC/DC, but they were good all the way back to the Bon Scott days. You know, I like Brian Johnson too. He was good. You know, just there are many bands that survived. Yeah, there are many bands that successfully survived losing their lead singer.
Although it's not all that common. I mean, I do kind of feel like it's not that common.
What's that?
A band losing their lead singer and then still being like equally as successful afterward.
No, it's Iron
it does
Maiden.
happen, but
Iron
not
Maiden
that
did
often.
It. Iron Maiden did it. AC/DC did it.
Mike says over 70 is the new old school. Well, it's weird because I don't know. Like I said, I guess because I grew up in Daytona, which has like a really big biker culture. So even when I was a kid, you had like what you're talking about. That sounds like shit that was going on in Daytona when I was a kid, and it's like funny that it's still going on. It's probably like the same people.
Those dudes are still in there.
That's what I'm saying. It's like the same people.
Well, I got into kind of like a friendly fight with the old man that was next to me. He goes, and he was talking in the middle of it, you know, he's like, well, how old are you? And I said, I'm 53. And he goes, you're young, you're still young. And I said, how old are you? And he goes, I'm 61. And I said, you're a fucking baby. I'm a what? I said, you're a fucking baby.
I'm a what?
I'm a baby. Yeah, you're a fucking baby. I says, I'm 62
baby.
years old. How am I a fucking baby? He says, you're a fucking baby. That's young. That's nothing. And he goes, well, if I'm baby, what does that make you? And I said, I ain't even born yet. And he's like, yeah.
Yeah, I'm a fetus. That's the thing about it's. That's
they're all like that.
Yeah.
Just yell at them. If you yell, it's funny.
I don't have a problem with that.
Just yell at them. You're a fucking baby. I'm a baby. Yeah, you're a baby.
Probably good to yell at them because most of them probably can't hear anyways.
Yeah.
Like, no shame, I can't hear either, so. It's weird because getting old is so weird.
I don't give a shit.
I don't give a shit either, but it's like, it's weird because, and I've heard this from other, like, really old people that are just kind of like, yeah, I don't feel like an old person. I'm like, yeah, I kind of.
Nah, I don't give a shit.
I mean, I'm sure, like, really young people look at really old people and they're like, what?
I'm just going to ride it out until I die.
Yeah, you are, like, really old, but you don't feel like an old person.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do, but not usually.
Look, okay, I think I got Zach on here. I'm going to show you, Zach. There's a old bodybuilder from the old internet back in the 90s. I remember him. His name was Scoob. He went by the name Scooby. And Scooby was one of the first online internet coaches. Lifted. He was a muscle dude. He got driven off the old internet because it came out that he was gay and married to some dude. So some of the other fitness guys started fucking with him, and they drove him off the internet. Well, he finally came back. His name's Scooby. Scooby's on, he's on YouTube again, and he's up in Germany right now. And he just put out a video 2 or 3 days ago that says 60 is the new 30. And he's like 60, and he looks pretty good for 60. He looks pretty good for 60. you can tell he's been on those androgens since he was a young man. His skin kind of looked a little bit worn out, but he's he's fucking light years ahead of the average guy in his 60s. And I don't think he's with that dude anymore. He's just down in Germany, being one of them BDSM fucking power bottoms, I guess. Cruising dudes in Germany. And he does look like some dude that would do well in the German fucking power bottom scene or something. He's kind of a fetish type of guy. Scooby, check him out. Yeah, but he's got a real good way with people. He's got a real kind of nice sounding voice and shit. And he's like, you see, the problem is with a lot of young guys is that they grow up scrawny and weak, and they have a poor self-image and poor self-esteem and no confidence. And if we get them trained up and get them bigger and looking good, then they'll feel better about themselves. That's the way Scooby talks. They'll feel better about themselves, and they won't have all these, problems with depression, and they won't have all these problems with drug abuse, and then they can go out and find girls or guys or whatever they want. And he's just, Scooby was kind of like a motivational speaker. I like Scooby. And fucking, I didn't like the fact that they drove him off the internet back in the day. Yeah, but he's back, you know what I mean? That was other muscle dudes that did that, you know what I mean? Trying to shame him and shit.
That seems a little weird because I do kind of feel like there's always in the kind of musclehead community.
Yeah, like there's no gays in the
right.
What the fuck?
And it's just that seemed like protesting too much. Okay, yes. It's like everybody knows.
Yes. I was thinking the same thing. I was
so
like,
everybody's acting like outraged now because he was just like open about it, and I'm like, come on, you guys. Yeah. Just come on.
Yeah.
Knock it off.
I mean, because like shit. Even Arnie and some of those fucking interviews, and fucking he's there with the other fucking dudes like, Franco Columbo and shit. And these dudes are fucking champions and they would be like, wait a minute, there's gays in bodybuilding? What? What? Really? You know what I mean? Fucking no, it was always there.
I mean, I kind of feel like that was going back to like a long time ago.
Going back to the 40s and 50s?
Yeah, before it was really mainstream, I kind of feel like that was like a large part of the appeal of it.
Yep. Back in the 40s and the 50s, and you can go back and fucking listen to the work of Leroy Colbert, who was one of the first black bodybuilders to ever be on the cover of a muscle magazine. He was kind of adopted by fucking, was it Joe Weider? I think it was Joe Weider. One of the guys that started Gold's Gym, and they almost kind of adopted him as a son. And when they were in the 50s, those dudes made money doing photo shoots and selling nude photos to admirers. Mm-hmm. They just said admirers.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
They were men.
Yeah. Like nobody, it wasn't super open, but everybody knew what was going on.
They all knew what was going on.
Sure.
Like I said, porn was heavily kind of controlled.
So it just seems like really disingenuous to turn around and be like, oh, like shun the gay one. I'm like, come on now.
Those dudes, mostly, those dudes weren't gay. And they weren't, as far as I know, gay for pay, what you'd call it. But they all had guys that were sponsoring their careers.
Sure.
To pay gym fees, to pay the drugs that they needed, to help pay this and that. And, of course, your sponsors got good photo shoot photos. Okay? You read in between the lines there. Of course, we know what you're talking about. We don't know how explicit they're talking about. Some of that shit's leaked. It's just kind of like art photos, black and white art photos and, nudes. But there's probably all kinds of stuff out there.
You have to think, too, particularly back in that time period, and even nowadays, women aren't going to pay for that.
Mm. Women wouldn't pay for it.
Like I said, even now, I don't think. No. And even now, it's probably more common than it used to be, but I kind of feel like even back in the day, like, women didn't really pay for porn because they don't. It's not like I said, it's not the same thing.
Ingrained in them.
Women like erotica.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Generally, not always. Obviously, there's like a lot of variation there, but.
Eugen Sandow, the guy who came up with with bodybuilding, the first modern bodybuilder of the late 1800s. He was the one that proved that the Greek statues were not idealized statues, that those were real people. That the Greeks and the Romans actually did lift weights. And he replicated those bodies he took the dimensions and he scaled them all down, and he started looking that way. You can Google him, Eugen Sandow. And when you win Olympia, they give you the Sandow Trophy or Sandow Award. It's a statue of Eugen Sandow with a big old barbell. And his wife eventually had some kind of falling out, wouldn't let him back into the house, and just treated him like a scumbag, and he kind of lived on his own for the rest of his life. He did something immoral. We don't know exactly what it was, but it is known that he gave private showings, private viewings. He would do muscle routines and a strongman act, and if you paid extra money, certain select men, and he did have a ladies' night too, but certain select guys would be able to see him more up close and personal. These were nude, okay? It had to have been what they're talking about. And there were some nude selfies and shit type photographs that he would sell. And it's been wondered maybe if he was also bisexual and probably like, having sex with some of these dudes. And they think his wife found out. And that was just back in the day. So it could be, it's not official, but it could be that the father of modern bodybuilding was bisexual.
Yeah, it may have been. Like I said, no one knows for sure. But,
Nobody knows for sure, but
I mean, it
probably.
sounds.
I think probably.
Yeah, it sounds kind of likely.
Probably. I think he was hooking on the side.
And it was really not. It's sad because it really wasn't all that acceptable back then.
He was married.
It was going on.
It was going on. I think the problem was that he was married.
Yeah.
And his wife fucking got pissed.
Which, yeah, it's, I can see that, but not so much being bisexual, but just kind of like the whole, doing shit behind my back kind of thing. Yeah, Victor says it feels weird that we're getting old and watching everyone get old too. Yeah. Like David Arquette looks old as fuck all of a sudden. Yeah. In the face he does. Because I just saw him. I hadn't seen him for a really long time, and then I saw him in the trailer for the new Scream, and I was kind of like, oh yeah, he looks old now. I'm just so used to seeing him in the original Scream from 1996.
We'll go back to what me and Bee's Nest were talking about. Spend the money. Use modern technology for life extension. Do your fucking hormones. You'll thank me later.
Karen Robb says, I'm 62, but inside I'm 36, so odd.
I'd like to see your blood work.
It's the same kind of thing.
I'd like to see your blood
work. And Dermot says, I'm 55, and it feels like only yesterday that I was falling out of clubs at 6 a.m.
Yeah.
We still kind of do that occasionally.
Yeah, we still do it.
But, but it just, the only difference is it takes a couple more days to recover.
Yeah.
Used to be I could go to work the next day. Now I still can, but I'm not happy about it. Yeah, Oscar says, did you guys see Antlers yet? Unfortunately, a friend told me it was bad, but Victor said, I thought it was pretty okay. Yeah, I actually want to go see it tomorrow, so we'll see. Is there any more,
Oh, yeah, I forgot to do that.
Yeah. You forgot. You got so excited about Muscle Men that you forgot to make me a drink.
See how she's coming.
Well, hey. I'm just, I call it like I see it.
You want the same thing?
Yeah.
Let me go see if there's any more ice out of that.
Yeah, we got to check the ice because I don't know if somehow the ice maker got turned off, the little bar. So it wasn't making ice all night, so we didn't have ice today. Mike says, all this drinking does not hold all the answers to this life. All it does is give you a moment's rest from what haunts you deep inside. Isn't that all that really matters, though? I'm not honestly looking for any answers because I don't think there are any. I'm just kind of looking to have a good time. Is what I'm looking to do, because that's really where it's at. Just trying to pick out some enjoyment, a little bit of fun, just trying to relax every now and then. That's pretty much all I'm doing. Although, I try not to drink too much anymore, because then tomorrow I'll be like, man, bleh, it'll be awful. But what are you gonna do? Victor says, I'm not against getting Brotox. I never heard that term, but that's pretty fucking awesome. Fucking Brotox. Was there any ice? There was a little bit? Ice. Oh, okay. That ice? What? Goodness gracious, Pookie.
What are you calling me for, Pookie?
Yeah. What is it?
That's her little laughter voice.
Yeah, that's her little, come on!
Yeah, come on. She wants to get down on the floor with her.
Well, I did earlier, and she was just all kind of excited.
Yeah.
She was just kind of
Yeah.
She likes to get all up in my hair for some reason. She was like super into my hair.
It's get down on the floor with her.
Yeah, she's not. That's the thing. She'll sleep in a chair by herself, but she's not a lap cat. Yeah. Like she won't jump up in your lap and fall asleep. Beijing will sometimes. Thank you. But Pookie wants you to come down there. She's like, no, I want you down here on the floor and play with me. That's how that goes. She's like, you have to come to me. Victor says, Jenny, you got a great radio voice. Thank you. I just got Delilah flashbacks. Delilah. Victor called it Brotox. Have you ever heard that?
Who?
I said Victor just called it Brotox.
What's a Brotox? Oh.
You know what I mean? Get it?
Oh, like Botox?
Yeah. Bee's Nest says, gotta go, guys. See you next time.
All right, man.
Bye. Gotta hit up McDonald's.
Get it.
That does actually kind of sound kind of good. There's not really a McDonald's very close to here, is there? Now that I'm thinking about it.
Karen says, Tom, your arm's looking so good. Thank you, baby. I'm going to be leveling up here in a bit. Can you see the vascularity?
God.
I'm going to be getting like... I'm probably going to be getting another 3-4 pounds of muscle over here in the next couple months. About another 3 pounds probably on the arms. Yeah.
Oh, shit, man.
See that shit? That's right. Like a beast. That's that beast. Are you gonna do some
claw,
are you gonna
do some naked
like a dragon?
Some naked pictures
you
like
have to take it.
For some male admirers?
Yeah, anybody. Be sitting there, I'll be up in the bed like this, like that, and fucking cock in my hand. You taking pictures and shit. My fucking boots. I put my boots up on your fucking shoulder, and you take a picture of that shit. And I'd be like all nonchalant, like on my bike, my foot up on the bike like that, fucking dick falling and getting burned on the fucking exhaust pipe and shit.
Getting stuck in the spokes.
Yeah.
Shit, that's not funny. I had my fucking calf burned by a motorcycle tailpipe when I was a kid. That is, I had a scar for like years and years from that.
Tom actually showed a good AMSR voice last show. I'm not sure exactly. I don't remember exactly what I was doing.
Yeah, what did you say? Now I can't remember. Like I kind of remember you doing that, but
yeah, I can make all kinds of voices.
You should get like right up to the microphone, and you could do like all kinds of voices. You could do all kind of like sexy.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it was when we were talking about Dan Bell doing like Quiet Time.
Yeah.
Because I think you said the same thing that Dan Bell says.
A little bit of some quiet time.
I think we could all use a little.
We can all use just
quiet
a little bit
time. That's what he says.
Quiet time.
I think we could all use a little quiet time.
You gotta get in the character for that shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna do that fucking AMSR where I just gonna sit like this. I'm gonna have a fucking crown on my head. And I'm gonna, thank you, my lady. Yes. Yes, my lady. Kneel before your king. That's the AMSR. The name of my AMSR channel is I Am Your King. Yeah.
Well, there you go. That's a brilliant idea.
Yeah, I am your king.
That's a brilliant idea.
And I have like the fucking cape with the fucking ermine fucking trim and a fucking...
You can do some Fabio shit?
Do some Fabio shit. A bald Fabio. Bald Fabio. Yeah.
Just don't get hit in the face by a bird, I'm just saying. Poor Fabio.
You know that's not butter.
That's right. I forgot he was in those. Wait, was it I Can't Believe It's Not Butter? Is that the commercial he was in?
You know that's not butter.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Now I kind of want to watch those on YouTube. Is that fucked up? I'm going to go down some kind of fucking rabbit hole about that. That bitch was on all those fucking romance novel covers back in the day. He's totally like, he's not my type though.
Yeah.
I don't really like that. Like, I don't know. It's just not my thing, I guess.
All right, now the gays are jumping on me. Dermot says I'm gay for pay. Victor Garcia says I'm gay for pay, gay for barter, gay for free.
That's all right.
Victor's just gay for free. Go ahead, Dermot. He's got you. Victor's got your name written all over his booty. Victor's fucking power bottom, man. All you gotta do is just lay back, put your arms on your head. He jumps up in the fucking air, comes down on your ass first. No lube needed. He's self-lubricating model.
He brings his own trampoline.
Yeah, whatever.
I don't know. I don't know your life.
It's like landing ass first on a fire plug. shit. Got like that shape coming up there like that. Makes a popping sound. And it goes in. Pop. Snap.
You're talking about all this and you don't even have your cocksucker hat on.
I don't have a cocksucker hat on. Hold on.
Or even your sexual tyrannosaur hat.
There's some cock to be sucked around here.
I'm not sure I like it at that rakish angle. You might want to like put it back. Yeah.
I gotta be fucking policeman.
Victor says, I'm a top bro. My type is 23-year-old Latinos.
Okay, all right. Man, let me spin my own fucking fantasy yarn to the people out here. Okay, now I don't mean to misgender you. Okay, if you're a fucking top, then you're a top. Okay, that's it for the hat.
Really? You gonna put your sexual tyrannosaur hat on?
Fucking sexual tyrannosaur hat. Yeah.
What did I say I was gonna call this video? Caffeinated ass.
I don't know what it is.
the coffee enema edition.
I'm gonna go in there and get some more ice.
Really? Why didn't you bring some more up in the cooler thing?
I didn't bring my thing down there.
No. Well,
I didn't figure that. No, I know there's not enough ice in that bin
to put in the
even
cooler.
Put a dent in that.
Like
yeah.
We even have like a little cooler that we bring up,
yeah.
so we don't have to go all the way down to the refrigerator. One of these days, we're gonna get a mini fridge and put in here.
Yeah, mini fridge.
And then I can put like a couple of ice trays in the freezer thing. We should have it like it's a hotel room because I'm like too lazy to walk down the stairs and get the ice out of the fucking refrigerator. Do you know there are some whole entire days that I don't ever go downstairs? Isn't that funny? Dermot says I'll take whatever I can find these days. I mean, you know, that's like I said, no shame. You gotta do what you gotta do. Holy fucking shit. Damn. Ugh. What the fuck else? What the fuck else is going on? Yeah. That's what he was doing. He was doing the Dan Bell impression. That was like super funny. Man, I don't know. I don't know why. I love Dan Bell. And like I said, he was kind of like out of commission for a little while. Like he was gone for 6 months. And then when he came back, like he said he'd been having like a lot of mental health issues and stuff like that. But he actually looks a lot better. He looks like he's lost some weight. Looks like he's kind of cleaned himself up a little bit. He's on like some different medication. And he seems to be like in a lot better mental place, which I thought was kind of nice. But yeah, it's funny because we watch him, so sometimes we get like the recommendations for Rick Serra's stuff too. And like Rick Serra is totally funny because if you've ever seen Another Dirty Room, like Rick Serra is just like completely, totally, and utterly shameless. Like he'll just do anything. Like not even hesitate. So he has his own kind of charm. I've heard they have a podcast that I think they put up one a week, but you can only listen to them if you are on their Patreon. I think you have to be like a $5 a month subscriber. And I've heard a couple of them just, you know, they put up a couple every now and then just like for a sample, and they're fucking hilarious. They just do, it's kind of shit like this where they just like sit around and like smoke pot and drink and just like talk about a bunch of gross bullshit. And they're really, really funny. So I'll have to do that, but I don't know. I kind of feel like the funny thing about Rick, and it's that I think he has a little bit, I don't know. I feel like he has like a little bit of resentment because Dan Bell has like how many million subscribers, and Rick is kind of like, so he's always kind of like, he's always kind of saying kind of stuff like, you know, Dan has all these subscribers, but I wish like all Dan's subscribers would come over and subscribe to my channel instead.
Yeah, right.
But they never do, and he's always kind of like, and it's just kind of like, It sounds like really desperate, but it's also like super funny. So it's just like every time he starts doing that, I'm like, uh-oh. Rick's getting like fucking, I don't know. And he was talking about, it's not just Dan, it's that other guy too that has Bright Sun Films, Jake Williams, who also has his own channel because he produces some of Dan's videos. He's like, yeah, and Jake Williams has X amount of subscribers. I don't really know how many subscribers that they have, but he's always like keeping track of how many subscribers they have, and it's like he doesn't have as many, and he just like gets bummed out about it. Like nobody loves him as much as those two. But it's just like, I don't know. That's really funny to me. What you doing, Poke?
She's excited about being here. You excited about being here?
You want to be on the show? Look at your big eyes.
Yeah.
Aw.
Man.
Yeah. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't you chew on that. I know what you're thinking.
Yeah, and she knows that she knew that you knew what she was thinking about because that tail went, shut up.
Yeah.
Do you see the tail?
Yeah.
Shut up.
She knows what I'm saying.
Yep.
She knows what I'm saying.
I'll chew on it if I want to. Okay, come here.
Although she'll chew on it if she thinks that I'm not looking or I'm not paying attention. Because as soon as I say, don't chew on that, she's always like, well, I wasn't chewing on anything. I don't know what you're talking about.
Gramthars, I bought that... I bought that Ocean UV9G radio, and it came with a little rubber ducky type antenna on there, and I didn't know it was in my pistol belt, and I had that thing underneath the little cubby in the nightstand next to the bed, and she was climbing up there in the middle of the night and chewing on the end of that damn antenna.
Yeah, she's a chewer.
I pulled it out, man. There's all these little teeth marks on it. I'm like, God damn, brand new radio. So I ordered another one. They were like $10. It was only $10 for the antenna. Put the new one on, put it right back in there, and I caught her going in that thing again. Oh, I forgot. And when I pulled her out, she had her mouth on the end of it. She's like, oh, a new one, and she's gonna chew on that.
Oh boy.
Yeah, it's brand new. He freshened it up.
New toy for Pookie.
Freshened it up. So I pulled it out. And what I did was I took the brand new one and I stored it. I had to put the old one back on there. Put the old one back on there. I just wrapped it with that stick, that grip tape that you put on badminton rackets and fucking tennis rackets.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Sometimes you can use it for gun parts and shit, where make something kind of feel a little bit better. So I had that wrapped around there like that. So that's just I got another thing that I want to do when I start my own channel. I'm gonna do a combo section. Stop it, Poke. I bought one of those $20, $25 fucking Baofeng UV5Rs. And I like that little radio for the money. That thing's fucking great. Real good. A lot of features. Learning fucking how to do chirp. There's so many tutorials on it though. And I'm getting that's paramilitary shit. But anyway,
you gonna give her some of those, or
they're there on the ground.
Oh, okay. Well, you have to point them at her because I think she forgets they're there.
Right here, right here.
That's the same ones that's in the box.
That's it right there.
That's the same ones that's in the box. I promise.
Actually, it isn't. But I give.
Oh, she's mad.
She's mad. Yeah. With that UV5G, I'm gonna get a couple more of those at that price, and a whole bunch of them extra batteries.
But what we were gonna say is that the thing about Pookie is, one, she likes to chew on everything. She's a chewer. But she doesn't like to chew on things that she's supposed to chew on, because she chews on shit. So I bought her like a whole bunch of like chicken flavored chew sticks and like little chewy things with catnip on them and stuff. Does she ever chew those? No. She pushes them off the table and like looks at them. But if it's like a cord or like a metal thing or like a table leg, she's just like all over it. She only likes to chew things if she's not supposed to chew them. But now she's all bummed out. Does she have any treats over there?
She's eating them.
Oh, okay. She scratches on those boxes. I guess Ilsa's out now, but Ilsa sent us those 2 big boxes of treats, and when she wants one, she just goes up to him and goes until you open it, and then you pour them out, and then she just like looks at you like, okay. Zach says, it's talking about Dan Bell. Didn't he get divorced and broke up with his boyfriend after that within a few months of each other? Now, see, where did his little boyfriend go? Because I kind of feel like they did some videos together, but then he's still at the Belvedere, right? Like, he got rid of his office, but he still has the apartment there, and he's talking about how he wants to move out. But I guess his boyfriend isn't there anymore, so I guess they moved out. Does he have a new one?
He's got that new one.
Now, see, I thought the new one was also gone because he hasn't talked about him like the last couple live streams I've seen. I saw a live stream 2 days ago and he didn't mention him.
All right.
And he wasn't there. Sometimes he's on the show, but I know like his boyfriend, I can't remember what his name is, but he doesn't like to be on camera. Like, he'll let his voice be on camera. Like, he'll be on the other side, but he doesn't like to be on camera. But I haven't, like, he hasn't been on there for a little while. So I don't know. They were living together, but I don't know if he's gone now. And then Zach said, I really miss Will Krapinski, too. Yeah, I do, too. And honestly, I like the trio from Another Dirty Room. I like Dan and Rick and Brandon. Those three are super funny together. And, like, they'll go in that hotel room and they'll get, like, really, really drunk. And Rick will get, like, really fucked up on weed and drunk. And they will just do all kind of, like, crazy shit. And Rick will just, like, eat anything.
Well, Rick's like some kind of sanitation guy or something, or health inspector.
He used to be a health inspector. He's retired, but he used to be.
Go in there with all these little test strips and see how much bacteria is on shit.
Like I said, his big thing now, I don't know how this got started, but he started eating the bars of hotel soap and, like, giving his opinion about which ones taste better than other ones. And it's like, that got to be a thing, so now he kind of has to do it, like, every single time. Which, okay.
Okay, so if you guys have any questions, if you want us to discuss anything or talk about anything, everything's on the table. It's open lines Friday.
Man, we'll talk about anything.
We'll talk about
obviously,
anything.
because we've already talked about all kind of, like,
talk about so much
things.
bullshit. It's not even funny.
Brad Jones says, just got off work, yay, for 13 o'clock. Yay.
Yep.
Sorry I'm late. Hey, everybody. You know, you're not late. It's just kind of like...
What time is it?
It is 7:16.
Still pretty early.
Yeah, it's very early.
Okay.
I mean, it's Friday night, for Christ's sake.
Huh?
Okay, no, that's still Zach.
Yeah, you're good. He says, now I'm kind of sad because the podcast Roger Deakins and his wife do is going on hiatus because they're making a new movie with Sam Mendes. Yeah. Let's talk about grits, says Victor.
Oh, shit.
I haven't had any grits in a really long time. You haven't made any grits in a really long time.
Grits aren't in season.
I thought you said that they were always in season. I remember you saying
I can make some.
many times.
I can make some.
I'm just saying those.
It's a lot of carbs.
It is. Well, that's probably why we haven't eaten much
it's a lot
lately.
of carbs.
That's probably why we haven't.
Been kind of on a diet, but
kind of. Well, I mean, you know, we're kind of like trying not to do too much carby kind of shit.
grits.
Although
shrimp and grits sure does sound good.
It does. That's another thing. We haven't even eaten at like Chantel's for a really long time.
Yeah. Well, we haven't been over there in a while.
When was the last time we were at Mannequins? Yeah, when was the last time we were at Mannequins? Was like 2 or 3 weeks ago? I think.
And we didn't eat there.
Yeah, we either didn't eat on the way home or we stopped at IHOP.
Kind of getting mad at Chantel's because when you go down there late after the club, service takes forever. Depending on who's working. But
because there's never anybody in there.
Yeah.
It's always kind of like really slow because I mean, on paper they're open until 4 a.m. But if there's only like one table of people in there, which there usually only is, because the weird thing about downtown Sanford is that almost all of the bars close at 11.
Yeah.
Which is very strange. But I think that's maybe why, because I don't know, that's really weird. Because normally, most bars downtown Orlando, stuff like that, are open till 2:33. So the fact that pretty much everything in Sanford, I guess it's some kind of like city regulation, but Mannequins gets around it because they're open till, what, 2:30? Is she doing it? Oh, goodness gracious, Poke.
She's flying through the air. She's in the lane, flying through the air position. Yeah, okay. You flying, Pookie? Okay.
She's like, shut up, stop talking to me.
Okay.
Why is it weird? Why? Have you ever listened to the Well, There's Your Problem podcast or watched Fascinating Horror? I don't think so, but those are ones I'll look up. Like I said, I have so many fucking YouTube shows and podcasts and stuff like that. I'm like, there's so many I want to listen to, but I feel like I don't have time. Victor says I still haven't tried grits. That's why he wanted to talk about them. Well, like I said,
where do you live, man?
You kind of have to know how to make them. Because like I said, if you just eat them plain, then they're gross.
Yeah.
but
Gotta know what to do with them.
because they're not gross. They just don't really taste like anything.
Yeah, they're kind of.
Or they're just bland.
I mean, I don't know where you live, but you could probably get instant grits that are already kind of have a little bit of flavor in them. They'll sell them in packets sometimes, depending on where you live. Quaker instant grits. They come in packets like those little oatmeal packets, and that's the easiest way. And some of them come pre-flavored. It's not great, but and then
They're acceptable, but you have to like adulterate them. I mean, you have to put like half a stick of butter in there. And,
no, not a half stick. Come on.
Well, I'm just saying.
Let's put some butter in, and then crumbled up strips of fucking bacon in there, cheese, slices of American cheese or cheddar cheese or any kind of cheese you like in there. Cajun seasoning. Put a couple of hard-boiled eggs in it.
Yeah,
Just
see,
eat it out
I
of a
like
bowl.
that. I like stuff with like,
Yeah.
I like hard boiled.
If you get real fancy, you put some boiled shrimp in there. Zatarain's boiled shrimp. It's been done in Cajun seasoning. That's what you want. Crawfish boil. Yeah,
That's
shrimp
another
boil.
thing we haven't had in a long time. is
Yeah.
shrimp boil.
Man, the prices have been fucking high. There was a time I could go to Sam's and get those shrimp for, what was it, $12?
Well, sometimes they're on sale.
Yeah, you
like
gotta
for
catch 'em.
$12.99 or
They go on sale
$13.99.
when a hurricane's coming. When a hurricane's coming,
Well,
all
because
that
they're
shit
trying to get rid of all the
Hell
seafood. Because
yes.
they're like, well, the power's going to go out,
Yeah.
so everybody buy all the meat.
Yes, everything goes. So went down there and got like 4 big old things of fucking, what was it, 3 or 4? I think they're 3-pound bags of fucking shrimp for like, I think it was like $11 each one.
I think it was
cheap.
I think it was
$15 for
5 pounds, and I think it was $12.99 or
what it was?
$13.99.
Man,
something
I
like
bought
that.
like fucking 4 bags.
Yeah, we got a bunch of them.
We had fucking shrimp. Damn. Lots of shrimp. And then every now and then you'll find a sale on the crab legs.
Winn-Dixie usually
Winn
has
Dixie.
that.
Yeah.
So it's usually... Well, the thing about crab legs, though, is that I love crab legs, and I love the king crab legs, but, you know, it's like, oh, I'm getting like 10 pounds of crab legs, but it's not really 10 pounds because a lot of that is
all fucking shell,
and you
yeah.
can't eat it.
Yep.
That's not 10 pounds of meat.
No.
You know what I mean? So, yeah. Dermot says, we don't have grits here in the UK. Are they like polenta? Yeah.
Yeah.
They're very similar.
Similar.
Pretty much whatever you can do with polenta, you can do with grits.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of thing.
It's
And Dermot
made out
says,
of hominy.
yeah.
Okay. And somebody's like, well, what's hominy? You have to understand the South. Corn. We had 2 different grades of corn. Some corn was bred to be food corn. It's kind of softer kernels, and you can eat it right off the cob when it's cooked. It's freaking real good. Other corn was more like cattle feed grade corn. You dried it. They would dry those kernels and crack them sometimes, but it was just a bunch of dried kernels. You could give it to cows or chickens or pigs, and they'll eat it. If you there's nothing wrong with it. It's just normal.
Yeah, it's just corn. It's just
normal
like,
corn.
yeah.
It's just that it's tough. Okay. If you cook it, still it's tough. But you could take that stuff and you could soften it up by putting it in a big old barrel and putting lye in it.
Yeah.
And that lye would break that corn down and chemically pop it, just like popcorn. And it would go pop. And it would pop. I mean, I don't know if it made a noise because it's happening in the barrel. But when you find it, it would be like this.
We're imagining it's making
It'd
a
be like
noise.
this wet popcorn
Yeah.
in the barrel. And that's hominy. You can pull that out of there and put it in a can, or you can put it in a jar and seal it, and it would keep forever. And heat that up.
You can eat it like that if you want to.
butter.
I never have. My grandma
It's good.
did, but
It's good. Yeah,
I
old
didn't.
people loved it. Back
Yeah,
in the day.
old people
Other
really
generations grew up on it, so they
Yeah.
liked it. It doesn't have a whole lot of flavor. That's the problem.
Well, like I said, it's kind of like rice or something like
Yeah.
that, where you have to it's like the base of something.
Right.
You can't just eat it the way it is because it's like doesn't taste like anything.
Now they ate hominy and things like that pre-Civil War in the South fucking forever. All right. The Civil War caused a lot of problems in the economy. A lot of survival shit started to happen. And one of the things that they would do is try to preserve hominy. So what you could do is you could take hominy out of the fucking vat and let it dry. And it would dry out. And then once it was dry, you could crumble it into little bitty grits. and then you could recook it and reconstitute it, and it made like a porridge, like a polenta. And if you season it, it's fucking beautiful. It's better than hominy, I think. Hominy doesn't have a big care. I guess I could probably dress hominy up. I never really controlled the hominy factor. Usually when I ate hominy, it was something your grandma gave you. And she would give you
my
this
grandma was
old-
really. She always had
old
like that canned
school-
hominy in the fucking.
Yeah, old school canned hominy, and it wasn't really spiced. It was just like, it's not bad. It's just there's not much to it.
Like I said, it doesn't taste like anything.
Yeah, and they overcooked the hell out of everything back.
That's true.
Our grandparents' generation were fucking overcooked everything, especially vegetables. They cooked everything down to slime in the South.
I told you when I was a kid, I
Fucking
thought I
crazy.
hated vegetables because everything was boiled to death
Boiled
and
to
didn't
death.
taste like anything.
Spinach was just a
and
green
wasn't seasoned.
Yeah, and spinach, they cooked spinach down to a green slime.
The first,
And it was just like,
the
what?
first time I had raw spinach in
Yeah.
a salad, my
Oh, yeah.
mind was blown
Yeah.
because I'm like, oh, I thought spinach was like gross and slimy and didn't taste like anything.
And I don't know why they did that. It was a food safety paranoia, I believe. And they just thought everything should be just cooked to death to make sure it was safe.
To make, yeah.
I think that's what they were doing.
So they basically cooked all the flavor out of it, and they weren't
And
real,
all the texture.
and they weren't real big fans of like seasoning stuff
Nope.
either.
No. They were no, not at all. It was bland.
So
Bland and
everything
cooked
kind
to
of
death.
tasted like nothing.
Right.
Which, like I said, for a long time, I thought that I didn't like vegetables just because the way they had been prepared, like my
Yeah.
whole childhood.
But the South made a lot of things out of corn. Okay? Corn. Corn on the cob, popcorn, cracked corn, hominy, fucking grits, and then cornmeal and cornbread. Lots and lots of corn stuff. Like Mexico. Mexico did the same thing. We just had a different way of dealing with it. And you can't get real cornbread outside of the South. The deep, deep South. I'm talking about Mississippi, Alabama, parts of central and northern Louisiana. Maybe the Panhandle, Florida Panhandle, might know what real cornbread is. Real cornbread is dry and coarse.
It's kind of dense.
And dense, heavy. And when you bite it and chew it, you'll feel little things cracking in there. It'll crackle because it's got like a grit in it, and it's just that cornmeal. All that light, fluffy, sweet cornbread, that's Yankee bullshit. Fucking.
Although I will still eat that too.
Yeah, younger generation, it's good. It's good, but
But it's
that's
much
not Southern
sweet. It's
cornbread.
much sweeter than
It's
Southern
more like
cornbread.
corn cake.
Yeah.
And real old school Southerners laugh at that shit. They laugh at it. They're like, oh, that's not cornbread. Real cornbread is almost kind of like the closest thing to it would be that Mexicans have these gorditas, and they have this kind of like a corn fritter, like a corn bread that they can make a gordita out of. They slice it, and then they'll put their fillings in it. I had it at that real Mexican restaurant over here. It's kind of like cornbread. It's like a tortilla that's risen slightly. Well, that's what they're eating. Cornbread is even more risen a little bit, but not much more. A Mexican would really understand cornbread. They'd go, oh, okay, yeah. It would just be real familiar to them. That flavor profile.
Yeah.
And what they're doing with it is you put butter on it. You can do that.
People eat it with chili a lot, I feel like.
Yeah, but chili is a Texas thing.
Yeah.
The thing that I mostly saw them doing with Mississippi is using it to soak up the drippings from or pot liquor or the drippings from collard greens.
Yeah, that too.
Okay.
Yeah. that's
Or
a big
Brussels
thing.
sprouts.
Yeah.
We had boiled Brussels sprouts, and it's kind of spicy, and it's served to you in a bowl that has drippings or water in the bottom of it. But it's like vegetable soup or a vegetable gravy that's kind of come out of it. And you're eating the collard greens or whatever, and you're taking the cornbread and you're putting it down in there and absorbing that moisture, and it's good. It's good. You just have to know what to do with it. It's very Southern. All that stuff should be in that cookbook. I think I gave them the real corn.
Yeah.
In the cookbook that we sell, and you can go. Jenny will tell you where to get it. Where do you get that cookbook?
It's in the description.
It's in the description.
It's lulu.com.
Lulu
Just
dot-
go to lulu.com and search 13 o'clock cookbook.
Oh, yeah, lulu.com. Sit and search for a 13 o'clock podcast cookbook, and it's in there. and it has a real cornbread recipe. All right, it's cheap to make, and you just have to know what to eat it with. There's instructions for Southern food in there, and Brazilian food, and Mexican food,
stuff.
and Italian. Yeah,
Asian food, Thai
Asian
food,
too.
all kinds of
You
stuff.
get some Chinese stuff in there, and
Indian food.
Indian food, and it's be real handy for people that live outside the South or people that live in Europe. I got all the instructions in there how to make that stuff and where to source it.
Granthers Hammer said, which is better, Winn-Dixie or Publix? Down here, Publix.
Publix.
Winn-Dixie
But Winn-Dixie's good at certain things.
is good for certain
Southern
things.
stuff.
Southern stuff and
Yeah.
meat, although...
Yeah.
I don't know. I kind of feel like back when I was growing up, Winn-Dixie was kind of more known for their meat because they had their own, farms. But I don't know about nowadays.
Publix has kind of a more urban flavor, suburban flavor to it. There's a lot of Cuban style and Latin style food availability in there. It's a little what you would call higher on the hog. A little bit more
Publix is a
expensive.
little higher end generally. It
Higher
depends
end.
which
Yeah.
neighborhood you're
Yeah.
in. But
Winn-Dixie is like high end working class or middle class, but Southern middle class. That's where you can go to get. You can buy things in there that they wouldn't sell in Publix. Like you can get ham hocks there. Ham hocks. You could get like the fucking super Southern fucking cuts because you need ham hocks. What do you need a ham hock for? That's what you make red beans and rice with.
well, yeah.
Red beans and rice, kind of like what you'd get from Popeyes. You cannot execute that recipe without ham hocks. You got to have them. Smoked ham hocks. There's a bunch of different things that you can get there. Real good, better prices on things like crab legs. Sometimes real good prices on
Sometimes.
shrimp. It depends on what it is. They got a deli that's good stuff. Like Boar's Head is probably the most expensive brand, but they'll also have more ethnic style, Southern and soul food type stuff at Winn-Dixie. They'll have and it be on the buffet. You know what I mean? Like you can go down there and get a bunch of macaroni and cheese or salad stuff or what else is down there? I've seen them have
that's the
egg
thing, though.
rolls. I've seen them have egg rolls.
It's like, but nowadays, I kind of feel like when I was growing up, it was kind of like Winn-Dixie was kind of like the working class.
Yeah, it was
place.
ghetto.
And Publix was kind of like
The rich people stuff.
yuppie place.
Yeah, yuppies.
So you know what I mean? But I kind of feel like that distinction has vanished.
Well, Winn-Dixie upped its game.
Well, they had to.
Yeah, but it still has a lot of those bargain brands and a lot of those Southern components that you need.
But they've really like you said, they've really kind of like upped their. I mean, the competition is so stiff nowadays.
Yeah.
It's just kind of like we were talking about before, like fast food restaurants. Even like the shittiest fast food restaurant has to be at least
Decent
because you're gonna go out of business because there's so many and it's so competitive and people are so picky nowadays.
Yeah, like food at 7-Eleven is decent now. It didn't used to be.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like back in the old days, it used to be like, oh, you're eating like a taco from 7-Eleven. Oh my God, you're gonna get like fucking some disease.
Or it's just like something microwaved out of the damn.
But now it's like
That's pretty
not.
good.
Now it's like completely acceptable.
Yeah, and there's like usually like a Subway or
You
something.
can't get away with shit like you used
No.
to, which in a way, like that's good.
The worst fast food restaurant that exists here would be Hardee's. Isn't that Hardee's? Wasn't that Hardee's? No, what was no, it was.
Well, at least we don't eat a lot of fast food.
No,
but
it
the
was-
worst fast
it
food.
was at Circle K, right? Was that a Hardee's?
Yeah.
Yeah, Hardee's. Those hamburgers are mediocre as
And
fuck.
that's still but they're still
good.
edible.
They're still
It's
edible.
not like you ate it and you were like, oh God, I'm gonna like die now. It was just kind of like, well, that could have been better.
You eat the burger and it's like you can taste some soy in that patty. It's not beef, 100% beef. It's got kind of like that soybean burger fucking texture to it, and it's just like, and things are kind of strange. But we've eaten there fucking in an emergency when you're passing it because man, we're starving to get something to eat. Pull into Hardee's.
And that's like the only drive-through,
Yeah.
like for several miles.
And everything else is okay, like the fucking fries and the bun and the lettuce and the tomato that's on it. All that. It's just the patties. The meat is not really not as good as McDonald's. Not as good as fucking Burger King. Not as good as fucking Wendy's. Wendy's has slipped over the years, but it's still okay. Still pretty good.
And like I said, I kind of feel like a lot of it has to do with the location too,
Yeah.
because some locations that I've been to of like Wendy's or Burger King were like way better than others.
It's the same with Subway. Some Subways, the bread is a lot better than others, and what that is I had a friend that worked there when he was a kid, and he told me why. The lazy people are cooking the bread from frozen dough, but people that are on the game or on the ball are thawing the dough out and letting it rise before they bake it, which makes a big difference in the texture of that bread.
Yeah.
But because I've had good Subway and bad Subway.
I kind of feel like Subway, even though, please correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure Subway is the most ubiquitous franchise, at least in the United States. Those bitches are everywhere. And honestly, even the Circle K that we have up at the end of our street has a Subway inside it.
Used to be Taco Bell. Taco Bell used to be a fucking
There's still a lot of Taco Bells,
Yeah,
but
nowhere near as what it
I
is.
think Subway has the most locations.
Yeah.
I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's
I remember Taco Bell's being everywhere, and then Long John Silver's being everywhere, and you don't see Long John Silver's much.
You know what? It's weird. I kind of miss Long John Silver's.
Yeah.
Well, there's not like really anywhere you can go like fast food fish stuff.
Yeah.
Like I know, like yes, McDonald's has a fish sandwich. Yes, Burger King has a fish sandwich, but it's not really. We don't
The
have
price
like
point isn't there.
I guess not.
No.
I mean,
That's why
every
it's-
now and then I like a good fish sandwich,
Might as well just go all the way and go to Red Lobster
or go to Captain D's.
or Captain D's.
We do have Captain D's.
Although, didn't we do the numbers, and Captain D's ended up being about the same price as Red Lobster? For a couple dollars more, you can go to Red Lobster's.
Pretty much.
Yeah. And you got about the same from what I remember. But fucking Captain D's is definitely Southern. Definitely.
Oh yeah, you can get fried green tomatoes. And
That's
everything.
fucking Southern as fuck.
We
And
used
it's
to go there. We had one that was probably about 7 or 8 miles from our
Yeah.
old house.
And it's pretty much middle-aged black women cooking it, which is
Yeah.
going to be good.
It's all deep fried.
Yeah, it's all deep fried. And because it's Southern and it has a fucking ethnic flair to it, they respect that food.
You can get, you can get fried green tomatoes. You can get collard greens.
Yeah.
Get all kind of shit. It's a
Yeah.
chain, but yeah.
Yeah.
Victor says, "Is Whataburger still in Florida?" You know what? I don't know if we have any Whataburgers around here. I've never seen one. I've lived in Florida my whole life, and I've never seen a Whataburger.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know if it's one of those chains that doesn't exist here, or maybe it exists in some parts of Florida that I've never been to. I've lived in Central Florida my whole life, and I've never seen one. So I don't know. But Bee's Nest said, "I can eat Taco Bell every day."
I like Taco Bell, actually.
I'm not a big fan of Taco Bell, to be honest with you.
It's not Mexican, it's American.
Well, obviously.
But there is something
There's something about it, I know that
comforting
it's-
about it. I could just eat 20 of them damn tacos. Just sit there and just eat those fucking tacos.
If I'm going to get tacos, I'd rather go to Del Taco. And there's only like 2 of those in Orlando.
Yeah, and they're
So
good.
it's kind of, they are good, but it's kind of a bitch like to get to. I mean, Taco Bells are everywhere.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm not, every now and then, like, I want fast food. Normally we go to McDonald's because it was the one that was on the way home. Lately we've been going to Burger King a lot because that's on the way to the movie theater. And I'm not a massive fan of Burger King, although it is better than it used to be.
Victor says, Whataburger's in Pensacola, Panhandle, and Jacksonville.
Okay, so that's way north of us.
Yeah.
I don't think we have any in Central Florida. I've never seen one. I'm not saying they're not here. I'm just saying that I've never seen one. But honestly, I used to really like Wendy's, but I mean, I haven't been to a Wendy's in a really long time.
Yeah.
I don't know.
They're not as common here. They have them, but they're just not everywhere. Not here in Florida. What is everywhere here is fucking Circle K's seem to be everywhere. 7-Elevens are everywhere. McDonald's seems to be pretty common. And so does Hardee's. You see a lot of those.
And a lot of them are in gas stations.
Yeah,
And like I said,
in
Subway.
rural areas.
Subway is in a lot of gas stations too. And to be honest with you, it's kind of like there's this situation now where Subways have kind of like taken over the backs of gas stations that are open all night.
So they're just everywhere.
So they're all over the place. So I kind of feel like that's maybe how they got to be
Yeah.
like the most ubiquitous fast food chain.
It's Subways or Hardee's.
Thank you, Victor. Go get some Whataburger. We're gonna have to drive to fucking Jacksonville.
Yeah.
That's pretty.
Thanks, Victor.
That's pretty far. Hugo says I like Wendy's and In-N-Out. Yeah, I always liked Wendy's. I haven't been to In-N-Out. I don't think we have any of those here.
I've been to when I was a kid out in California when they were good. They were real good. Another good chain that California had that I remember as a kid was Carl's Jr. Back in the 80s when I was there.
That's owned by Hardee's now.
Is it?
It's the same company
So
that owns both
now.
of those.
Back in the day, they were really good. And one of the best things that Hardee's had, or one of the best things Carl's Jr.'s had back in the 80s was a damn burrito. And they had this burrito they would deep fry it all at once, and then they would give you some hot sauce and a sauce on it. It was a fucking great burrito. And it was kind of like
all right.
Kind of like the burritos you get damn in a package at a gas station.
Yeah.
It's like that. But there was something about the filling and the fact that they deep fried it.
Well, deep frying makes everything better.
Yeah. And
It makes it like 1,000 times more unhealthy, but it makes it taste like 1,000 times
And they had
better.
another one that back in the 70s and 80s, it was called Jack in the Box. That used to be really good.
Well, until that like E. coli breakout that they had.
It was good
I
even
still
after
remember
that. It was good even after that. Now, how that shit went down in the 70s, McDonald's refused to put, at a certain time, just wouldn't put a restaurant in a area that was like a black area, all right? They wouldn't do it because they were afraid of fucking just crime or whatever, hiring people and standards of fucking employee standards and shit. So they just were not doing it back in the 70s. So that left a vacuum in black neighborhoods. So Jack in the Box would. It was a black-owned company. And fucking Jack in the Box was great. And that spread into what you would call white areas. And it was good. Big old, they had the fucking, what was that thing called? The Jumbo Jack. Used to fucking love those things. Were big. They had fucking shredded lettuce and tomatoes on them. But they had this thing. Had old Rodney Allen Rippy. Fucking would do the commercials. You could see him on. I saw Rodney Allen and his mama. And my mom was with. We were at the Pike, and he was up on the Ferris wheel. And he goes, "Look," my mom goes, "Look, there's from
the
Rodney Allen
commercials."
Rippy." And I'm going, "Hey, Rodney Allen Rippy!" I'm like fucking 5 and shit. You know, we were the same age. He ended up being an entertainer, evidently a little bit, local entertainer. And my mom and his mom were talking and shit. He was telling him how good, how cute fucking Rodney Allen was in the fucking, and the commercials and shit. But anyway, it's funny I run into those people, but we were in the right place, the right time, the right era, and fucking the right fucking scene, I guess. But they had, one of the things that I really missed about Jack in the Box was that they had this taco. They fucking sold a taco. Now check this out. It was a folded taco with a corn tortilla with a filling that was like refried beans mixed with meat. It had lettuce and tomato in it. And they folded it somehow to where it kind of sealed. And they deep fried that. All right? And they were only like 50 cents. So you could get like 5 or 6 of them for nothing. They were greasy and delicious. And they fried the lettuce right along with it. Yeah, the lettuce was fried in it. It was good though.
Hot lettuce.
Hot lettuce. It was just a cheap ghetto taco that were fucking, and they give you this fucking hot sauce just like right out of Taco Bell. You know the cheap Taco Bell sauce? It was just like that.
Yeah.
But it was just like the perfect fucking food. You know what I mean? They're like, it's just like, you know, like a cheap food, like, you know, like I like the fucking just a regular McDonald's hamburger. Nothing to it. The McDonald's.
Yeah.
I eat like 5 or 6 of them though.
Sometimes
They taste good.
you don't want to gild the lily. It's like
right,
sometimes you just want like simple shit.
Simple shit. Maybe somebody in the comment sections remembers those from the 70s and the 80s, those fucking Jack in the Box tacos.
Hugo
you could
says,
probably see.
Hugo says they still have those tacos.
They still have those? Fucking A. Man, I miss those things. Are they still good? I remember them being fucking great. I loved them. I bet you, I'd like to see an old 70s commercial from them. I'd probably be able to smell them if I saw that damn commercial. You know how, like, your sense of smell somehow is really tuned in with your memory?
Yeah.
Sometimes I'll see something I remember as a kid and I'll remember what it smelled like.
But it smelled like,
And
yeah.
I'll smell that for a second. Yeah.
Yeah, I have that too.
Right.
Like I said, a lot of people have that. Your sense of smell is actually like much more powerful than you.
But I love that Big Mac. I love that fucking Jumbo Jack and those tacos. I fucking remember that. And I don't remember the fries, so they must have been kind of mediocre. I remember the onion rings though. They had good onion rings. I remember the onion rings being kind of like
Kind of like Burger King onion rings.
You guys said they still good.
They're still good? Yeah. Were they still cheap? They used to be 50 cents.
You can't fuck up a deep fried taco.
A deep fried taco with the lettuce deep fried into it and everything.
I mean, that'd be really hard to mess that up.
Let me ask you this, Hugo. I remember that the taco kind of folded in on itself and that it sealed. I don't think the top of the taco was open. Was it?
So it was essentially like an egg roll.
Like a Hot Pocket.
Or a Hot Pocket. Sure.
Yeah, you take a fucking tortilla and fucking seal it like a Hot Pocket. Yeah, like an egg roll or a Hot Pocket. Exactly. That's how I remembered it. It might have been open on the top, but I don't think it was because it had lettuce in it. And I would be eating them, and like adults would look at it and goes, man, they fried the lettuce. Ugh, that's terrible. Why would they do that?
Like hot lettuce?
But I'm just like
what the fuck are they
it's
thinking?
fucking good. Yeah. It's just something that worked.
I mean, you know.
It just worked. Kind of like a White Castle burger. That shouldn't taste good, but it kind of has its own flavor. And if you like that, then that's...
We don't have White Castle here, but we had Crystal, which is pretty much the same thing. It's the same thing. Victor says, Jack has good curly fries and potato wedges.
Do they? Okay, I don't remember curly fries or wedges.
I wish that more fast food places would do wedges.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like KFC did them for a little while, because I remember, I don't go to KFC a lot, but I remember like back in the old days, they used to have potato wedges, and I was kind of like, thank you, somebody likes these big like chunks, because I like big chunks of potato, man, with like skin on it.
Now, the thing with Jack in the Box that I remember when I was a kid, this must have been the 70s. Maybe somebody could actually get the date if you hit Google. I remember the shit. I was a kid. It was in the 70s sometime, maybe late 70s. It might have been early 80s, but late 70s, I think. It was all over the news that Jack in the Box was being sued because they claimed that it was 100% all beef patty. And it wasn't. It was wallaby.
That's bullshit.
What's that?
That's bullshit.
No, it was wallaby.
Do you know how expensive wallaby meat would be?
Not back in those days. They got a big shipment of fucking wallaby.
I don't buy it.
And it was true. It was true. And then I remember they had a whole PR campaign saying, well, it wasn't all wallaby. They cut it with some wallaby.
There was a little bit of wallaby in there.
And they were just saying how that was a high quality meat and that it was
like, look, meat's meat. Okay.
Yeah, well,
it's not human. Calm down.
It was wallaby or kangaroo, but they got it from Australia. And it was like some kind of farmed, I think wallaby, if I remember. You guys can Google that shit. We're live. I can't Google it. You Google it. It was fucking wallaby, if I remember correctly. And I remember him saying that. And like there was other people at the time going, yeah, well, what would you rather have? Would you rather have it cut with soybean, or would you